Barnett finds himself just 13 yards shy of that, and he could pick that up on this first play from scrimmage, which will start at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Wolfpack. They have 2 wide receivers out to the short side of the field, and they'll go to Ray Robinson. First up, true freshman, gets up over the 20 to the 23 lineup. Let's take a look at our Geico starting lineups. As you look at State, and Ray Robinson is the man for them. Robinson with 202 yards last week against Virginia. Jeff Butler, the fullback. Coleman and Holt, and then Devon Smith as the tight end. Of course, up front, Ian Rafferty has started more games than anybody else, both at tackle and at left guard. Knudsen, but we could see other people there, Burrows, Rice, and Boyd. 2nd down and about 7 now for Wolfpack. Second play from scrimmage. Clemson showing blitz. Wolfpack pick it up, and they pick it up out quickly to the 36-yard line to Torrey Holt. And with that pass, Jamie Barnett has become the all-time passing leader in yards in NC State history. Let's take a look at the Clemson defense here while we have a moment. Donald Broomfield. Dingle gets all the representation, but Broomfield has been very steady with his play at defensive tackle. Gary Childress, DeMont McKenzie. Raheem Abdullah has scored twice on turnovers against NC State, including a 74-yard return last year of a fumble. Michael Allen in the backfield. And speaking of in the backfield, this is Ray Robinson finding no place to go, and he's flattened down at the 34-yard line. Broomfield and Childers did the job.
Dingle did a good job of getting penetration on that one, Steve, and forcing the ball carrier back in on Robinson. So the leading player on the defensive line, Adrian Dingle, gets good penetration and causes Robinson to lose a yard.
Dingle with 9 sacks on the season. He's been playing with a knee injury all year long, Coach. 2nd down and 12. NC State, they've got Holt and Coleman split to the wide side. They'll throw to Holt at the 30. Edwards is there, and he'll get help. Michael Allen comes over. Robert Carswell is there as well. And that brings up 3rd down and probably a loss of 1 on the play on the pass to Holt.
Well, this is an excellent play by the defensive secondary of Clemson. Carswell, Perry coming up and making that stop. I tell you, it's hard to hem up a football player with the ability of Torrey Holt. You saw him make those moves and tried to get up the field, but the defensive backs did a good job.
They got to get that type of help, Bill, all day long if they're going to handle Torrey Holt. Holt now is the slot receiver to the right. Barnett's looking to him and finds him at midfield. Holt picks up a block from Coleman and is knocked out of bounds by Alex Ardley at the 40-yard line of the Clemson Tigers. 25-yard gain.
That was a crossing pattern with coming out, and we'll take a good look at it here. We watched number 81 Holt as he comes back in right across the field, and there's the ball delivered to him, and an excellent block by number 84 Coleman that springs him loose for another about 5 yards.
Now, State is very, very dangerous once they've caught the ball. Holt especially so. Something that looks very small is going to turn very large in a hurry. 1st and 10. They're at the Clemson 41. Here's the toss to Robinson. And there is Chris Jones. You know, it's tough to try to succeed somebody like Anthony Simmons, but Chris Jones is the best candidate that anybody could come up with, the junior from Monroe, Georgia.
Well, he's done an excellent job. He's a leading tackler, but there was a good block put on by the NC State fullback. It enabled Robinson to get around that corner, but as you mentioned, Jones State Square came up and made a good tackle on Robinson, number 5 from NC State.
Barnett 3 for 3 in the air, looking at 2nd down and about 10. Jones is tackled here at the 41 of Clemson. That's Holt in motion out of the backfield. They'll line him up everywhere, and they'll throw at him in traffic, heavy traffic as well. That is going to be the tight end. That's going to be Smith instead of Holt. Tackled by Abdullah and Childress.
Well, that was a great catch by number 89, Devon Smith. Let's take a look at it. Good protection. Good job by the center, Burrows. And right in between 2 defenders, you could see him make that play. Raheem Abdullah came up and made the play.
3rd down and 4 coming up for the NC State Wolfpack. Drive started at their own 20-yard line. They are at the Clemson 35. again, Holt out of the backfield and in motion. Barnett will keep it. And he is going to be shy of the first down, or depending on the spot. Carswell comes up with the tackle along with O.J. Childress.
It'll be awfully close. Barnett did a good job of pulling that ball down because the protection broke down and he got outside of that pocket. I think it's going to be just a little shy. It looks like it from here.
Boy, that'll be a decision for Mike O'Kane. He's going to have to send a relatively untested field goal kicker out there for what it looks to be, if he's at the 32, it would be a 49-yard attempt.
Well, they might go for it if it's very short. It's not.
Looks to be the length of the football, maybe a little bit more. We don't see any movement from the field goal unit just yet. It looks like they're going to do exactly what you said they would, Bill. Probably go for the first down here at the 32.
It looks like their two tight end offense power set that came into the ball game.
So 4th down and a little under a yard. Full house backfield. Hand off to Robinson. Whoa! And that was Gary Childress who hit him at the line of attack.
What an outstanding play by Childress. The offensive line could not get any movement on the defensive front. And this is what Clemson has noticed. Well, let's take a look at it right here. Look at that hit right there. What an outstanding job by number 56, O.J. Childress.
And his brother Gary Childress helped out, but O.J. met him.
Well, he met him head on, and you can't get a better tackle than that because he didn't get any movement, but they're going to have a measurement. And we'll see if he made it or not. I don't think he did.
No. It was a yard. It might as well have been a mile. And it's going to be 1st and 10 as Clemson takes over on downs at their own 32-yard line. You just saw why Clemson is the second best defense in the ACC.
Well, there's no doubt about it. You know, you couldn't draw up a better picture of how they stop a lead blocker and play off the blocker and make the tackle on the ball carry on short yardage.
Brandon Streeter, junior from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. He's thrown 13 touchdown passes in his career, and on 1st and 10, he's going to hand off to Travis Zachary, his tailback, and he'll go straight ahead to the 35-yard line for a gain of 3. Let's look at the Clemson starters on offense here this afternoon. And you will see that Travis Zachary has really picked up the yardage of late, and he's got a good blocker in Witherspoon ahead of him. Wofford, Lawyer, and Watkins are the receivers. Up front, Holland Postel is one of the best offensive linemen in the ACC. Keep your eye on Kyle Young as well. 2nd down and 7. Out of the shotgun. They'll run out of this. Zachary and Witherspoon are to either side, and here comes Zachary following Witherspoon's block. Outside for the first down and brought down by Rodney Red, 5th-year senior out of Ridgeway, Virginia, but it's an 11-yard gain for Travis Zachary as we set the NC State defense.
Well, there's no doubt about it. That was an excellent job by Witherspoon, the fullback, leading the block as Zachary got around.
Bobby Cotton, the top defensive lineman. Nate Goodson, a redshirt freshman, is in with Bryant and Derrick. It's a small and young line. And look at the linebackers. Clayton White has had an outstanding season, along with LeVar Fisher and Edrick Smith. Lloyd Harrison leads the way in the secondary with Tony Scott. This is the Rough Riders unit. They lead the ACC in interceptions. Zachary on 1st down. Tripped up and brought down by LeVar Fisher, that true freshman from Beaufort, North Carolina.
That was excellent pressure there by, let's watch number 44. Watch him come in and make the play right here. There he is, makes the play on Zachary. Good job. Very good job by number 44, Fisher, the outside linebacker, strong linebacker.
41 tackles, and that's his 2nd tackle for loss this season, or actually they'll no gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Ball is at the 46. And play action. Streeter is going to Brian Wofford complete. And he is in NC State territory and close to the first down at the Wolfpack 45-yard line. Matter of fact, I think he got the first down. They're going to give him a very nice mark of 9 yards.
Well, that was a fake of the draw, inside draw, and he throws out. Excellent job by Wofford catching the ball. And then we watched Tony Holt, number 27, wrap him up and pull him down, but not enough to keep him from making that first down, I'm afraid, Steve. I think he's got a pretty good spot on this one.
Yep, very good spot to bring the chain gang out, but I think this is going to be a Clemson first down as Brandon Streeter stands over on the sidelines. He's over there along with Matt McWhirter. The offensive coordinator for the Tigers is Steve Emsminger. And now they're going to say it's just short. So it's 3rd and 1 play. Not necessarily a free play for Clemson, but they've got to take care of business here on 3rd down. No score. NC State drove down to the Clemson 32-yard line, gave the ball up on down.
Tigers! Woo!
Clemson now has moved the ball back into NC State territory. 18th renewal of the Textile Bowl. Both of these schools based in industry and agriculture. A celebration of their involvement in the industry.
Well, a real key is going to be that Clemson holds on to that football and protects that ball.
Well, that's been the key to their losses, Bill. They've lost 6 games and had 22 turnovers in those 6. And the 2 wins, they haven't turned the ball over at all. There's the handoff. Witherspoon, he's got the first down. They'll stand him up, but they'll give him progress to the 43-yard line.
That was very good blocking.
But we have a flag down. Flag down on the near sideline, and let's see what it's going to be. The field judge called it. It'll be offsides, and a penalty likely accepted by Clemson because it gives them the yardage.
Well, they lined up offsides, but Matt
offside
and Corey
defense,
Holston,
5 yards, first
offensive
down.
line did an excellent job of getting movement on the defensive front of NC State.
Butler, Halsey. We'll also see Akil Smith, a true freshman who could, many people say, he'll be the next great offensive lineman at Clemson. And they've had a row of them. He's not in there at the moment. Out of the shotgun, 1st and 10, 39-yard line after the penalty. They faked it, Travis Austin, and it goes deep for Mal Royer. Incomplete into double coverage. Lloyd Harrison, Tony Scott there on the scene.
What they're trying to do is fake the draw and hold those linebackers so they can get the underneath coverage out of it. Let's take a look at it. Here's Lawyer, number 84, going up, and he throws the ball up. Tony Scott is covering. It almost hits him. Of course, that was Lloyd Harrison, number 2, and Tony Scott, number 27, back there on the coverage.
Gardner and Martin are the split wide receivers, one in the slot. That's Martin to the wide side of your screen, or the top. There's Austin, gets around the blitz, but does not escape Clayton White and Bobby Cotton, who throw him for a loss down at the 41-yard line. Clayton White from Dunn, North Carolina. Blocked a field goal against Duke, 69 tackles. This is a young linebacker crew, Bill. I mean, you got really, out of the 6 guys who play the position, you have 3 of them are true freshmen and the others are redshirt freshmen.
Well, they've done an excellent job. Joe Pate coaches the linebackers, and with all the youth, I think he's done an outstanding job with that group.
Well, 3rd down and 11, no score. Clemson in NC State territory at the 41. Austin and Zachary are the setbacks. Out of the shotgun, Brandon Streeter to throw.
Here they come. It's a blitz.
And it's a screen. Oh, it's picked off by Clayton White, intended for Zachary.
What a great job by Clayton White, number 15. We can see the blitz coming from the end zone. Watch him coming across right here. And then it's a little screen as he throws it right. And look at number 15, Clayton White, break that play up. Excellent job by the weak side linebacker, White.
So it's on to punt now, as Kevin Laird will get set to punt the ball away for the Clemson Tigers. Pretty good protection. He'll try to kick NC State deep. Clemson had coverage, but they can't catch up. They had everybody stationed there. Nobody could get to it.
That's the kind of kick you want. You just want to keep it in there.
41-yard punt by Kevin Laird. No return. Bring it out to the 20. No score between these two. We'll be back after this from Red Roof Inn. On the sidelines after his first turn down the field. Brought him down to the 39, and then the drive stalled a little bit. Streeter, a rhythm quarterback, and we saw him in a good rhythm 3 weeks ago when they were playing the Maryland Terrapins and shut them out 23-0. On the other side, you've got Barnett, 4 for 4, and they're tied up in Baltimore today, playing at Raven Stadium. Georgia Tech and Maryland going at it there. Barnett has them out 1st and 10 at his own 20-yard line. Play action to Robinson, big rush by Dingle, and the pass is incomplete.
Well, that's put the pressure right on Barnett. Number 52, Dingle, comes in there and disrupts the timing of Barnett throwing that ball. He was throwing it out to Ray Robinson, number 5. He just didn't have time to set his feet. That's the thing.
And earlier in the series, he set a new career passing yardage mark. That's his passing yardage in a season. His career mark is now well over 5,925 yards, which was previously set by Terry Harvey. He came in here at 5,913. 2nd down and 10. Play action again. Big rush is on, and he won't escape this time. Raheem Abdullah with help from Adrian Dingle, but it was mostly Abdullah in on the sack, his 4th of the season.
Well, they had a little twist on. They had a blitz, and Adrian Dingle came in from and back, and you can see him come in right there. And a good job by Raheem Abdullah, number 53, but 52 and 53 putting the pressure on, and this is what the Clemson coaches are depending on against this offense.
They've got to try to shake the rhythm of Jamie Barnett. A loss of 7. NC State 1 of 2 on 3rd down. They're looking at 3rd and 17 back at their own 13-yard line. Barnett hassled again and sacked. Demont McKenzie, Donald Broomfield, Adrian Dingle, all 3 in the vicinity. McKenzie first on the scene, a 10-yard loss to the 3-yard line.
Well, this is what they talked about. Reggie Herring, the defensive coordinator, McKenzie, number 35, Chris Jones, number 57, coming in there, throwing them off ribbon, not giving Barnett time to throw that football.
Boy, McKenzie just blew by Ian Rafferty. All right, here's more drama for NC State. Earwood back to punt. The punt game has struggled with the snap problems all season long. Here's Carswell, or rather Zachary, to let it go. Right in front of his own bench. An excellent field position now coming back for Clemson, as they'll have the ball after a 41-yard punt at the NC State 41-yard line. Clemson and NC State, no score. Back after these messages from your local. Well, spitting the pumpkin seeds out, and an interesting view in this game from the end zone. An excellent defensive series for the Clemson Tigers gives them field position at the NC State 44. 1st and 10, and Brandon Streeter is under center.
Coming this way.
The pitch to Zachary on the corner. Good block from Witherspoon. Reverses field, still on his feet, and it'll be brought down by Lloyd Harrison at the 18-yard line. Harrison on the tackle. It's a 26-yard gain from Zachary, and what a great block he got from his fullback Witherspoon.
Well, you're exactly right. That's the option play coming down the line. We'll see coming down. He pitches out, and there's number 26 making the play. And watch Zachary cut back against the grain. It does an excellent job of running through the arms of Harrison, number 2.
And there's Witherspoon. Terry Witherspoon, the junior from Monroe, North Carolina. Zachary has 4 rushes, 40 yards, and it's 1st and 10. Look at the stats. Wolfpack rushing, of course, that's impacted by the sacks. 2 for 17 yards and a loss on a tackle. Play action and a draw to Zachary. But having nothing of it is going to be Lloyd Harrison with a great open field tackle.
Well, he ran right out of the arms of number 56, who just wasn't able to wrap him up.
It's Nate Goodson.
Nate Goodson, that's exactly right.
Goodson, an interesting, they didn't dress him the first 4 games of the year. He is a redshirt freshman, and he's from Roxborough, North Carolina. They kind of, he's kind of up and down. When he's good, he's very, very good. 2nd down coming up. And here comes Streeter. Pass to the flats is complete to Wofford, and he's got a 1st down inside the 10-yard line, driven out of bounds at the 6. Harrison and also Tony Scott on the play, but it's a 13-yard gain.
That was a well-executed play. well executed. We'll watch as we see Streeter roll out to his left and out in the flat. There he is right there with Tony covering, and Wofford, number 25, makes a good reception.
First and goal. Clemson working at the NC State 6-yard line. Streeter hands off. Zachary straight through, and Goodson picks up the tackle. Nate Goodson is there.
Well, this must be one of those days when he's on, because Goodson has been back in that backfield twice, gotten good penetration. Let's take a look at it. There he hands it off, and watch, you'll see number 56 coming in right there and making the hit on Zachary.
LeVar Fisher did a good job. Did a good job on the tackle as well, the true freshman. Second and goal from the 6-yard line. Javis Austin is the tailback for Terry Witherspoon.
There's the option play again.
Here's Streeter. Touchdown, Clemson. Brandon Streeter.
Well, watch Streeter come down the line on the option play. Turns up inside, does a very good job, and runs right over the defensive back, number 9, Jason Perry, and takes it into the end zone. Excellent option by Brandon Streeter.
David Richardson on for the point after. The kick is up, and it is good. And the Clemson Tigers march from the NC State 44-yard line. After an excellent defensive series, their offense clicks thanks to Travis Zachary. And it's 7-0. Brandon Streeter from 5 yards out on a nicely directed drive with 3:57 left to go in the first quarter of play. Nations Bank, a corporate partner of the ACC, presents this Salute to Excellence question. Which ACC team holds the record for fewest points allowed in a season? Only 31 points in 10 games. If you know the answer, log on to the internet address on the screen with the correct answer before next Saturday's telecast, and you'll be entered to win 2 tickets to the ACC Champions Bowl game. Stay tuned. We'll have the answer for you before the end of the game. And there's where you log on, theacc.com. Steve Martin, Bill Dooley, Charlie Frederick here in Death Valley. A beautiful day here in the upstate region of South Carolina, and the Clemson fans, crowd depleted somewhat because the students are out on fall break, but still a good crowd nonetheless, as you always get here at Clemson. Smith getting set to kick it away. This is Brian Williams, and he fumbled it again. And tries to go down on one knee. He's going to be marked at the 1 for forward progress.
I believe he stepped out of there, Steve.
No, it's safety.
It's a safety. He went back into the end zone.
Watch this again. He fumbled the ball, picked it up in the field of play, and then brought it back into the end zone.
It was in the end zone. He fumbled it out into the field of play, and then he brought it back and downed it.
He's a true freshman.
Let's take a look at it on the replay here. Here he is into the end zone. The ball comes right to him. Now you'll see that the ball goes out of the end zone, and his foot is over that line. Let's take another look at it. There it is. He steps out, and there's his foot, as you can see, out over the line.
The ball stayed and came back into the field of play at the 1. It's a safety. And a free kick coming up for NC State. Clemson will get the ball back.
Well, that was a good call by the referee, Jim Knight, because that ball did come out, and the NC State player did put his foot outside of that line.
You know, the thing about it is that NC State has given up a lot of points this year to the kicking game, whether it be bad snaps on punts, block punts,
dropping the ball, the punter dropping the ball.
Exactly, and now you got another kicking game mistake by the Wolfpack, and it gives Clemson a free 2 points here, and they have a 9-0 lead, and they're going to get the ball back. Mike O'Kane's young team, they're young and they can be very, very good, but then they can also make some interesting plays in the field. And
well, they're so explosive, Steve, that they make things. They are a big play football team. They can make things happen in a hurry, but Right now, Clemson's got the best of this offense-defensive battle.
Antoine Edwards, Javis Austin are back. Jesse Wade is going to kick it off. It's a free kick, so he'll kick from the punt position. He gets the better yardage of the two meaning Scott Earwood being the other punter for NC State. This one will take a state bounce, and it goes to Edwards. Edwards, one of the best punt returners and kickoff returners in the ACC, brings the ball back into NC State territory at the 46. Jason Perry on the tackle. But once again, Coach, Clemson's going to get excellent field position. Let's go to the field and Charlie Frederick.
Steve, Coach Tommy West told us yesterday that even though he's under fire here, he may lose his job. He's told his players, don't play for me. Play for yourself. Play for your own personal pride, your own personal dignity. And it's worked. This is a fired-up bunch of Tigers.
1st and 10 at the NC State 46-yard line. Lawyer is split out wide, and Wofford's inside his shoulder to the left side of the formation. Witherspoon and Zachary set back with him. Again, Zachary steps inside his fullback and gets to the 44-yard line and falls ahead for a good mark. Nate Goodson is in on the tackle for the Wolfpack.
Well, Zachary did a good job of second effort running. He looked like he was going to be stopped. He just kept his feet moving and picked up a couple of extra yards on the play. Here it is from the side. State was coming up, had the outside linebacker Fisher, but you can see Zachary. Watch him as he moves his feet and keeps going. That's Rodney Red, number 8, coming up and making the initial hit.
Zachary 7 totes and 44 yards now for Clemson, looking at 2nd down and 6 after the gain of 4. And off Zachary again, and he is stood up at the line of scrimmage by Corey Smith, redshirt freshman from Richmond, Virginia.
Well, that's a picture-perfect tackle. That's how you draw up one in the textbook. When you see Corey Smith, number 48, come up in there and hit him and stay square and move him back. Good job by Corey Smith.
Brings up 3rd down, loss of 1 on the play.
Let's take a look at the play here. Watch Corey Smith hit him right head on. Stays square and moves his feet back. No extra yards on that one.
Be the 2nd 3rd down conversion of the afternoon for the Clemson Tigers, looking at 3rd and 7, or actually 3rd and 6. They're up 9-0. Streeter. Short pass to the fullback Witherspoon. 1st down Clemson at the NC State 32.
Well, that time NC State only rushed 3 of their defenders and dropped 8. And he came up into, let's take a look at it. Here's Brandon Streeter back. Now the linebackers drop, and he throws right up underneath to Witherspoon. And therefore, he wasn't able to make the stop before he could get the needed yardage. That was Fisher, number 44, that came up from his linebacker's position to make that tackle.
1st down and 10 for Clemson at the NC State 32. And off to Witherspoon. He's looking off that left side of his offensive line.
I believe we have a flag, Steve.
And it is on the near sideline. Looks like it's going to be marked off against Clemson, but we'll wait for Jim Knight's official call. Been a relatively flag-free game here in the 1st quarter, and a fast-moving one. Drive for a touchdown, then a safety. Ooh.
Holding.
Big penalty against Clemson. This will move him back a little bit.
Well, that came from way back. That was a long-distance call, you might say.
Get the call from Mr. Knight.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards.
So mark it back 10 yards to the 41-yard line. And it will be 1st down all over again. New source for sports on the internet, jpsports.com is now online. Each week we'll give you previews of our upcoming telecasts, in-depth coverage of the ACC. You want the inside scoop, just log on to jpsports.com. We'll give it to you. 1st down at about 19. All back at the 41-yard line. Brandon Streeter out of the shotgun. Lawyer and Wofford are his wide receivers. And he's going deep. He wants Lawyer. Almost there, Lloyd Harrison.
That was a very good effort by Lawyer going up after that ball. That was Lloyd Harrison, number 2, covering on that play. You know, NC State showed them one defense and then shifted to another one. All right, let's take a look at it. There's Streeter in the shotgun. He did a good job of putting air under this ball to give Laird time to get up. But watch Harrison, number 2, and Laird go up and battle for it. Good play. Very good play defense. Excuse me.
Brandon Streeter, it's his reaction to the play. He's 3 out of 6 and 32 yards. And for Harrison, that's his 10th pass broken up on the year. Second down, 19. Clemson working from the NC State 41. After the safety, and we've got a whistle. And a possible penalty coming up against Clemson again for the play clock. They've had trouble with the play clock today.
Delay of game, offense, 5 yards.
Yep.
There was no play.
Clock ran out. They were going right up until 10 minutes of 12 here, trying to fix the play clock. Apparently it functioned too well for Tommy West.
One thing you may notice that NC State is lining up in one defense, and then they'll shift their linebackers over to the other side, trying to confuse the quarterbacking of Brandon Streeter.
Minute 5 left to go in this first quarter. Clemson 9-0. Second down and 19. Second down and 24 actually now to the 46-yard line. Streeter back, and he is going to go down. It is Corey Smith. Smith, who made a good tackle earlier on Travis Zachary, sacks Brandon Streeter back at the Clemson 47-yard line.
Now that was an excellent pass rush. He just bull rushed it right outside of the blocker of Clemson and goes. Let's take a look at it right here. Watch him come. There he is, Matt Butler, number 77, wasn't able to hold Smith out of there. And a good job by Corey Smith. Nice job putting pressure on the passer, causing the sack.
That is the first sack of the day for NC State. And it'll bring up third down and 32. Back to the 46-yard line at Clemson. Boyer and Wofford, 3 wideouts in the ball game now. The pass inside goes to Wofford on the slant. And Wofford just trying to pick up yardage for Kevin Laird, the punter. It seems this time goes down in Edrick Smith's grasp at the 43-yard line of NC State.
That's that little slip screen. What you do is you throw that ball in back of the line of scrimmage, and it allows your lineman to get out in front and block.
We have run out of time here in the first quarter. An interesting one that's seen Clemson step out in front of this 18th running of the Textile Bowl, 9-0. You can end up like this, or possibly this, which fate is worse on this Halloween. Clemson right now getting the better of it, 9-0 over the North Carolina State Wolfpack, getting set for the second quarter of play. Steve Martin here along with Bill Dooley and Charlie Frederick. Actually 9-0 is our score. And Clemson into punt. It's become a game of field position here. Kevin Laird, if he does his job, Torrey Holt will get the return this week. Inside the 10, and it's going to take a nice Clemson roll down to the 12-yard line. 31-yard punt, but we weren't looking for distance. We were looking for style right there. Let's take a look at our Duckhead first quarter stats. Look at the yards rushing. That's reflected in the 2 sacks and a tackle for a loss by Clemson's defense. And of course, the sacks will become very important today. Clemson with 2 more to add to their leading total of 28.
Well, this is again what the Clemson coaches talked about. They've got to put pressure on the quarterback, Jamie Barnett, and they've been able to do that. And as a result, they lead 9-0.
Got a safety and a touchdown by Brandon Streeter, the 5-yard run, capping a drive that started at the NC State 44. This is NC State at their own 13, and this is Raymond Robinson. 200 yards a week ago, and maybe 2 on this play. Gary Childress in on the tackle for Clemson. As we look at some scores from around the country. Underway, Maryland stunning Georgia Tech. That's in Baltimore today, 14-7. They're in the first quarter there. Tennessee has a 7-0 lead on the Gamecocks down in Columbia. 160,000 people are not at home today. They're in either Clemson or Columbia this afternoon in the state. Second down and 9, probably getting away from political advertising all over the airwaves in this state. Here's Robinson, big hole. And Carswell will bring him down at the 25-yard line, but there is a flag down on the play back at the 13.
I believe Clemson jumped in the neutral zone when the ball was snapped, Steve. But that was a good run by Robinson, hitting up in there for good yardage.
Robinson with 202 yards a week ago against Virginia. It's the 4th biggest day by an NC State running back in yardage in their school's history.
Offside, defense, decline, first down.
There's a defense in the neutral zone. We can see it. That was Dingle, number 52. He was probably trying to get a big rush on that pass rush, get a jump on that pass rush.
Needs 2 sacks to set a record here for Clemson. He's got 9, joined some pretty good company. Look at this field position. Wolfpack starting at their own 17 on average. Clemson at their own 47, although they've started the last 2 drives in Wolfpack territory. Here's the pass, incomplete and nearly picked off by Chris Jones. Intended originally for Chris Coleman.
Well, you know, we talked earlier that NC State was probably going to go to the quick passing game because they couldn't get it off. This is a 3-step drop. Jamie Barnett goes back, and this is the first time they've run this in quite a while, and it's because Clemson is putting the pressure on the quarterback. He's got to get rid of the ball hurriedly.
Defensive coordinator Reggie Herring's got to be happy at what he sees from his unit this afternoon, because they are doing just that, disrupting the rhythm of Jamie Barnett and the chemistry between he and his receivers. Here's the handoff to Raymond Robinson, and he is tackled by Raheem Abdullah.
Boy, he's a player. You know, when you think about a 6'6", 235-pound bandit, he is something. Let's take a look at it. Watch number 53 come in there. Bam. That is an excellent tackle, and then also you see Jones, number 57, the strong side linebacker, come in there for an assist.
He likes to play against the Wolfpack. He's returned 2 turnovers for touchdown, both fumbles against NC State. He's a junior from Jacksonville, Florida. 3rd down and 10. Wolfpack trailing 9-0. Barnett play fake. Oh, the inside pass to Holt is dropped. You know, you run the risk on those passes behind the line of scrimmage. It can be classified as laterals, and the ball can be live. This one goes out of bounds.
That was a little what we call slip screen, but it wasn't behind. It wasn't a lateral. It was behind the line of scrimmage, so they ruled that as an incomplete pass, of course.
And it's going to be punt time here for Scott Earwood. Earwood has been hampered by injuries all season long. Here comes the block attempt by Clemson, and he gets off a beauty. Fair catch called for by Zachary at the 23-yard line. A 52-yard kick, and that's where Clemson will start 1st and 10. It is Clemson 9, NC State nothing. Warm day, maybe October 31st, but you're looking through the fans that are helping to cool off the Clemson bench. Temperature on the and of course headgear of all kind is appropriate here. They haven't seen rain here since October 6th. Catching some rays on the lawn here at Death Valley. Clemson now 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. And the handoff goes to Diamond Adams. Diamond Adams is a junior from Fletcher, North Carolina. It's been a difficult year for this young man. His mother passed away on the first week of the season. She was here at Death Valley. She fainted during the Furman game. They rushed her to the hospital, and they informed Diamond in the 3rd quarter. They rushed him to the hospital to be with her, but unfortunately she had passed on before he got there. It's been this is his first action in Clemson since that very day on the first weekend of the season. 2nd down and 8 now for the Tigers from their own 26. And this is Javis Austin, the fullback, and he is brought down there by Sheldon Key. Key, the old man, a junior from Columbus, Ohio, in there at the middle linebacker spot. He's surrounded by true freshmen and redshirt freshmen, and he alternates in there with a good true freshman, Edrick Smith.
Blocker.
It's 3rd down and 7. Come out to the 27-yard line. And here is Streeter working out of the shotgun. Team leading here 9-0. Pass is out, and it is complete to Mal Lawyer at the 30-yard line. It's going to be short of the 1st down. Gain on the play of about 3. Sheldon Key, Jason Perry in on the stop. And it brings the punt unit on. So
Well, State lined up and showed blitz, and they came, and Brandon Streeter knew that he had to get rid of that football in a hurry. He threw it out before he wanted to, and of course didn't get the needed yardage for the first down with Pace Perry covering on that play.
So Laird getting set to kick. Hit a 31-yarder. They got it deep. We have a flag on the play, and the ball is down on the short punt at the NC State 45-yard line. This is a 25-yard kick, but we have a flag back at the line of scrimmage. So let's see what the call is going to be. It's going to be a hold against Clemson. Now, NC State's got an interesting decision. Do they refuse this penalty and take pretty good field position because it was a bad punt, or do they make them punt it again 10 yards deeper?
Well, that is a dilemma, but the umpire, George Burton, when you see that hold, when you see that flag from him, you know it's a hold.
Yep.
Because he's lined up right in position, looking right down into the offensive line. He's going to move them back. There's a signal from Coach O'Kane. Make them go back.
Yep, they're going to make him kick it again. They're going to take another shot at possibly blocking it, maybe.
Holding at the line of scrimmage by the kicking team, 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, fourth down.
All right, so it moves it back to the 20-yard line, and Laird will have to kick from his own 5. Well, State had the ball at the 45-yard line. Let's see what they get out of this one.
Back up, 30.
Torrey Holt is back to receive. He's one of the most dangerous punt returners in the ACC, averaging close to 17 a return, which is excellent. And Laird gets out of Bowman. Holt back to his 25. And Holt is brought down at the 35-yard line. It's a 53-yard kick and an 8-yard return. Kevin Laird does the job. Darrell Crutchfield on the tackle of Torrey Holt. So NC State gambled that Laird wouldn't get off a good one again, and they missed.
Well, that's one of those decisions you just don't know. You can't gaze into a crystal ball and see what's going to happen. But with Torrey Holt back there fielding punts, I'd do the same thing because he's a big play football player.
No question. No question. When he was standing at the 45-yard line, you figure, okay, you got a chance to bring this back into Clemson territory. Instead, they're starting from their own 34, first and 10. 9-0 Clemson. Brandon Streeter run and a safety. Here's the pass intended for Coleman in the flats. Alex Ardley covering.
Well, that was just a little high over his head, and didn't have any chance at all of making that catch. But Ardley, number 28, was right on top of it.
Ardley, the redshirt freshman, has had a lot of action in his territory. And of course, next week on many of these same stations, it's ACC football. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons against these same Wolfpack players from NC State. We'll see two great receivers in action, Desmond Clark and Torrey Holt. See it at 12 noon on many of these same ACC stations. First and 10, a second down and 10 rather for State. Pass is complete, and it's to Ryan Hamrick. And his forward progress is marked to the 38-yard line. And it's going to be a gain of 4 on the play. Barnett, who had hit his first 4, missed his last 4, and that breaks up the streak.
Well, again, that goes back. He thought the rush was coming, so he executed what we call a 3-step drop, a quick pass. And it tipped off the hands of the defender and wasn't able to get. So it brings up a 3rd down and long. Another big play in this ball game for NC State.
Trailing 9-0. 9:48 left to go in the first half. Hamrick and Holt split to the short side. Coleman to the wide side. That's Holt in motion. Barnett, 5-step drop, throws it just as he was about to get sacked. Great pressure by DeMont McKenzie. McKenzie and Dingle had him in the grasp, but back upfield, Antoine Edwards is down. And that is potentially a key loss for the Clemson Tigers.
Well, you know, he's been playing hurt just about all year long with his let's look at the pressure put on. There's Dingle, number 52. Look at him come in there. They're just not giving him time. McKenzie, number 35, making the stop. And his Antoine Edwards, you can see he's limping a little bit. He looks like he pulls a hamstring. He pulls a muscle in his the back of his quad back there.
And Chris Coleman even looks over in concern at Antoine Edwards as they're looking at that right hamstring and his right leg.
Well, you know, one thing they had talked about was Antoine had been playing with a turf toe.
Right.
Had been injured. They said he is in better health in this ball game than he's been in any ball game. So you hate to see a great football player like this, who's up for the Tharp Award, the outstanding defensive back in the country, go down.
Tommy West is really concerned about it because it takes his most experienced secondary person possibly out of the game for a while, maybe for the afternoon. We'll get Charlie Frederick on the job as you see Fred Hoover, the trainer, as they gingerly bring Antoine Edwards, who tries to shun any assistance to the sideline. Want to stay tuned at halftime for our Bell South You Call the Play feature. A look at a big call from ACC games past.
You know, Steve, when you see someone grab it like that, you know it really pulls.
Yeah.
I mean, he was running and just grabbed the back of his leg, so you know he's hurt.
And Reggie Herring is there. There's Tommy West. Reggie Herring in a white shirt, defensive coordinator. That's a key part of his defense. He wants to see whether that's going to stay in there or not. But right now, NC State is going to punt the ball away on 4th down and 6. And Earwood is back to punt again. The snap. There's the kick. Going back is going to be Zachary. And he'll return this one from the 15-yard line. Takes it 10, 15, 20, 25, and brought down by a sleeve at the 44-yard line.
Well, that was an excellent return.
Edrick Smith on the tackle, but it's a nice return that'll put Clemson in excellent field position. We'll be back after these messages from your local ACC station. It's that kind of day here in Clemson today on the side of the hill in shorts and shirt sleeves. And the last day of October, a temperature near 80 degrees. And right now it's 1st and 10 for Clemson. This is their 6th possession of the day. 3 of them have started within 5 yards of midfield. At their own 44, and Streeter's back to throw. Streeter looking upfield. It's intercepted by Lloyd Harrison. Lloyd Harrison picks it off, and it'll be NC State ball at the 37-yard line. Their first interception in 3 weeks.
Well, this was a little post flag pattern. Watch Streeter. The receiver goes inside, Brian Woodford, then he cuts out, but he overthrows, Streeter overthrows Wofford, and Lloyd Harrison comes up with a big interception. The Rough Riders, what is that, 14 now that they have intercepted for the year?
They had 6 against Florida State. That's 2nd in the NCAA and 1st in the ACC. And all of a sudden, Jamie Barnett's back out on the football field. And the NC State offense there with him. Play action 1st and 10. And he's looking for Holt down the sidelines, who had 2 steps on Alex Ardley. And let's go to the sidelines for an update on Antoine Edwards from Charlie Frederick.
And Steve, the Clemson defensive back Antoine Edwards just got up. The trainer's been trying to stretch out that injured hamstring. He's up walking around now. No word yet as to whether or not he'll be able to get back in the game. He was in some pretty serious pain, though.
Could be some bad news for the Clemson secondary, and all of a sudden they decided on the first play from scrimmage to go after Alex Ardley.
Well, that was there. He just overthrew it a little bit. That would have been a big play.
2nd down and 10. Coleman and Holt, wide receivers, play action fake. Barnett going for Coleman, and he overthrows it. Crutchfield covering that time.
Well, you know, Jamie has been overthrowing his receivers a little bit all day long. He's been high with the football, and Coleman was wide open, and he just overthrew him again. There's a picture there of Antoine Edwards, and you know when I say when he pulled and he grabbed back of his leg, you knew it was hurt. So they're sending him into the locker room.
Doesn't look good for a return for Antoine Edwards today. 3rd down now for NC State. They're 1 of 5 on 3rd down conversions. They trail 9-0. They're trying to cash in on a pass interception. Here's Barnett out of the pocket, holds it up, pass is complete to Richardson, and he's brought down at the 37-yard line. And look at Reggie Herring and the rest of the defensive staff down there.
Well, you got to hand it to the Clemson defenders. Boy, that rush, let's take a look at it. And look at that pressure put on him right there. There's Harrison, and Raheem Abdul comes up with the tackle. Of course, that was Brumfield back in the backfield too.
Yearwood forced to punt. It is taken by Zachary, and he is upended by Lloyd Harrison. Lloyd's had himself a fine first half. He's broken up a couple of passes. He's intercepted the ball, and he makes a nice tackle after a 33-yard punt and a 3-yard return. There's Lloyd Harrison. So, NC State, Bill, not able to take advantage of the Clemson turnover, which is incidentally their 23rd turnover of the year, and that's been the story for Clemson this year.
Well, it certainly has. You know, we go into this ball game saying it's going to be offense of NC State versus the defense of Clemson. Clemson right now is having the upper hand in that battle.
And Jamie Barnett saying, let's try this again. Let's try to get some snaps away. So he's going to practice over on the NC State sideline. Brandon Streeter will change up on 1st and 10. 33. Handoff now comes to Adams. And Adams tries to back his way out to the 34-yard line.
Wasn't much running room at all. And again, the NC State defense is showing one front, and then they're shifting their linebackers to create some confusion for the quarterback of Clemson.
Second down, gain of about a 1, and that brings up second down and 9. From the 34-yard line. Here's Streeter on the option, calls his own number. Not much room there. And in on the tackle, Corey Lyons, another one of those true freshmen. Garner, North Carolina is his hometown.
Well, let's take a look at it. This is the play that gave him the big plays in the first part of the ball game. The option play. He comes down the line, and watch number 16. He was getting ready to Corey Lyons. He was standing there waiting for the pitch, and then when the quarterback pulled up inside, then he makes the tackle on Brandon Streeter.
Gain of 2, 3rd down and 7. Clemson leading 9-0. Out of the shotgun, Brandon Streeter with Javis Austin and Travis Zachary back with him. Looking toward the splits, and he gets now Lawyer complete. And it is going to be good enough for the first down at the Clemson 45-yard line. Marcel Huff covering on the play. It'll be a gain of close to 10.
Well, they came with the blitz, but Clemson picked it up. Let's take a look at Lawyer as he runs a little flat pattern. He goes up, goes out, and there's Marcel Hogue, number 21. Let's take a look at it again. You can see the Clemson offensive lineman pick up the blitz, and that's the nickelback, Marcel Hogue, making that play.
1st and 10, 46-yard line. Clemson trying to build on a 9-0 lead. Hand off to Witherspoon, the fullback. Trying to get around his tackle, Postel, but he's not going to be able to do it. And he's brought down in the backfield at the 43-yard line.
Well, that's Jason Perry. He's the leading tackler on the NC State football team.
Listen to this. Wow, what a hit laid on by Tony Scott. Scott over there, as well as Greg Derrick, 5th-year senior, and Jason Perry in the vicinity as well. Brings up second down on a loss of the play of 3, 2nd and 13, back to the 42. NC State showing blitz. They send it. Clemson picks it up, and the pass intended for Lawyer, defended by Jason Perry.
Well, NC State that time used what we call a little fold behind. They folded the outside people inside to try to get a pass rush on Brandon Streeter.
He had good protection that time and was able to get the ball out to Lawyer, but it was a little tall.
Well, he did. And you know, one of the outstanding football players up front is Jason Gamble, the center. The pros really like this guy. He's going to play at the next level coming this fall.
Clemson's had some outstanding offensive linemen over the years. It's going to be 3rd down and 13. Ball at the 42-yard line. Clemson up 9-0. Big rush on. Cotton gets right after Streeter, and he throws it out of bounds, incomplete, to bring the punting unit on. Well, up at Raven Stadium in Baltimore, we've got some action going on. Georgia Tech and Maryland And this is going to be Jake Caldwell. He's going to recover this fumble by Maryland and take it in for a score. That's how Tech got on the scoreboard. And it's now 14-14. Georgia Tech on that fumble recovery for touchdown. Their defense has done an outstanding job of returning turnovers for TDs. They've scored at least 7 thus far this season. Here is Holt looking for running room. Holt can't find it. There's none there. Mike Seth in on the tackle. A 43-yard punt. There's no return. And the Wolfpack will have the ball back at their own 15-yard line with 5:35 left to go in the first half. Valley and Clemson. It's Clemson leading NC State 9-0. We're in the second quarter, and you see the time remaining. The defenses have taken over here in this game.
You're right, but there's one thing always. NC State has a lot of big play football players that they can strike in a hurry and strike in any minute.
Well, we've got an equipment problem on the sidelines. Fans visit participating Belk stores. Well, there you go. If it doesn't work, just put it on the ground and just bang it a little bit. We got to try to make that go from first to second down. That's the problem here, folks. There, looks like it's working. Yeah. Maybe a pumpkin seed or something got in there. And, you know, sometimes you just throw out the instruction manual and just bang it a couple of times.
That solved it right there. Everything else, nothing else worked, but that did.
Well, it has been a defensive struggle, and it kind of dovetails from last year, really. A 19-17 verdict, and this kind of reinforces that. Wolfpack with only 48 yards in the first half, and they are the big play offense. I thought I'd remind you of that. And the Tigers at 101. But right now, Bill, the momentum defensively seems to have swung back to NC State. And that's why I think this series for them is quite important offensively.
Very important. Very important.
First and 10 from the 15-yard line. Raymond Robinson is back there in the tailback position. Barnett will play fake to him. Off a 5-step drop off his back foot. Throw to Torrey Holt, complete. Holt in a foot race with Crutchfield, and Holt is going to win it. Touchdown NC State. 85 yards downfield.
Well, that old expression is either feast or famine. Clemson came with the blitz. Jamie Barnett got the ball off to a dangerous receiver, Torrey Holt, and that's the result. That guy can catch, he can run, he can throw. Torrey Holt does it all.
He doesn't have to run into Antoine Edwards back there. Edwards out with the injury. Holt got behind Darrell Crutchfield and scored. And now here comes a point after. And this is Dan Descovich. Descovich is a senior from Charlotte, North Carolina, getting set to kick the point after. He's not missed a kick thus far this season. 6 field goals and 12 point after. He's a walk-on. Out of the hold of Ryan Hamrick. There's the kick, and it is good. So NC State scores. Torrey Holt, just like that.
Well, let's take a look at it from the end zone. Watch the blitz coming, and he's able to get that ball off Jamie Barnett. And there's Holt, and he just outruns. There's no way that they're going to catch him. Here's look, there's Butler.
He turns Crutchfield, and then it's off to the races.
Number 30.
That's his 27th career touchdown and his 8th or 7th touchdown reception of the season. Let's see what Barnett looks at.
Well, he gets it off in a hurry. Look, he's off balance, and this is the thing about Barnett. He has an ability. He doesn't have to plant his feet. He can release that football in a hurry, and of course he releases it to a big play football player. What a combination. You know, we just talked about a second ago that they're explosive. It can happen in a hurry, and it just did.
Well, you know, the thing that Reggie Herring talked about yesterday when we talked with the coaches is the chemistry between quarterback and receiver at NC State is as good as it's ever been. And that's the one thing that Clemson worries about, because after the play breaks down, after the original pattern is run, that's when you're really in trouble with NC State.
Well, you're exactly right. You just can't cover a receiver like Torrey Holt one-on-one when the quarterback can get the ball off. Now, if they're up in his face, Jamie Barnett could have not thrown that football, but he had time. He had enough ability to be falling backwards and throwing it.
Torrey Holt says, run that play again. You know, he comes from Gibsonville, North Carolina. Same hometown as NC State's women's basketball coach, Kay Yao. Here's the kickoff, and there's Javis Austin. He is brought down by Chris Coleman at the 19-yard line. Coleman, who is an accomplished special teams player, and we've got a little extracurricular activity after the play as well. It is going to be Clemson football at the 24-yard line. So we talked about that series being important for NC State to convert. They do. They've been playing well off defensively now. Let's see what happens here when Clemson comes back.
Well, some way, somehow, if Clemson's going to stay, they've got to get a little momentum back right here. The thing they've got to avoid, though, we've talked about before, they've got to avoid turning that football over. They've got to have ball security.
1st and 10. Ball at the 18-yard line, and a handoff goes to Zachary. Tries to turn the corner, but Jason Perry won't let him. Perry is there along with LeVar Fisher.
Well, he just came up from his defensive back. You can see why he's the leading receiver. Let's take a look at it. Watch Zachary go outside. There he is. Number 9 comes up from his defensive back spot and makes the play. That's got to be close to 100 tackles for Jason Perry.
He came into this game with 83. Zachary has only made plus yardage on 2 of the last 5 carries. Looking at 2nd down and 12 after the 2-yard loss to the 17-yard line. Streeter, the pass hit as he threw, complete, and that pass is complete to Justin Watts. Watts pulls down the reception, and wait, he fumbled the ball, and Tony Scott may have picked it up.
That's exactly what it looked like from here. We'll just have to wait and see what he calls. Well, he did. NC State has possession of that football, Steve.
Let's watch it again.
There's Streeter releasing the ball. Oh, what a hit right there. The ball pops right up in the air, and he comes down with it. My gosh.
And watch Harrison. Harrison makes a big hit.
Right, he hits the ball, and Tony Scott is right there, number 27. See the ball pop up, and Tony has it.
Wow, 2nd turnover of this quarter for Clemson. NC State at the Clemson 21-yard line. Barnett back to throw. Big rush is on, and it is incomplete, intended for Chris Coleman.
Well, again, Clemson's putting the pressure on. Let's take a look at it. They're not giving him much time. Watch Abdullah come right there and hit him just as he releases the football. But again, Jamie Barnett keeps his poise. He doesn't get rattled. He was able to get that football off. A lot of quarterbacks couldn't have gotten that ball off.
8 knockdowns of Jamie Barnett by the Tiger defense today. 2nd down and 10 from the 21-yard line. All kinds of movement. The flag comes out. The handoff goes ahead to the 20-yard line. Let's see if Clemson was drawn or were they just playing in the neutral zone all over the place.
Well, I think the quarterback did a good job of mixing up his snap count and making Clemson jump in the neutral zone. And they were in the neutral zone when he snapped the ball.
I think that's the 2nd time that's happened this afternoon.
Offside, defense, 5 yards, repeat the down.
And that's what a veteran signal caller will give you. I mean, Jamie just didn't get off the bus yesterday with this crew. He started for 3 years for this unit.
Well, you know, the advantage, too, is Clemson's got their ears laid back. They want to get up the field and rush the passer, so they're very anxious, and Jamie Barnett, by just changing the snap count, makes them jump.
2nd down and 5. Ball just inside the 17-yard line. There's Barnett. Handoff goes to Robinson. Nice acceleration by the true freshman from Hilton Head, South Carolina. Gets to the 13-yard line. Raheem Abdullah and Chris Jones get him for the tackle.
Well, he found a little soft spot back to the right side. He didn't find any running room where he wanted to go, so he had to cut it back and found a little crease back in there and picked up about 3 yards.
NC State has picked off a pass, and now they have recovered a fumble, and it has set them up with a 3rd and 2 here at the Clemson 13-yard line, and the Wolfpack now will take a timeout to talk it over. They have 2 remaining after this one. The clock shows 3:22 left to go in the second quarter. The Wolfpack want to be very careful to try to get themselves back in the lead and try to do it with 6 instead of 3. And they're facing a key third down conversion here in the red zone. The red zone success so far for NC State, 24 journeys into the red zone this year, 19 scores, 13 of them touchdowns. They've turned it over twice. And they've given up twice on downs.
Well, they've got to capitalize on this opportunity right here. The one thing that we'd said earlier that Clemson can't do is turn that ball over and give it to them. And they did. And now NC State, if they're able to capitalize it, they're going to take this lead, whether it's going to be 10-9 or more.
Oh, look at this. All right, let's go to the sidelines and Charlie Frederick.
Steve, I'm with Rodney Williams, the former Clemson quarterback, led Clemson to a Citrus Bowl title back in '88, beating Oklahoma. You guys had a 10-year reunion today, Rodney. I saw you run down the hill. My question is, did anybody trip and fall?
Actually, we didn't, but we had some bets up on the top of the hill to find out if anybody was. And I can honestly say it's a lot tougher running down that hill now with a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old on your hip than it is or was 10 years ago.
Of course, you're now the sideline reporter for the Clemson Radio Network. You're enjoying it from this side of the field?
I really enjoy staying in touch with Clemson, and gives me a great opportunity to stay close to the university and the program.
Robbie, thanks a lot. Let's go back upstairs to Steve and Coach Bill Dooley.
And the pass on 3rd and 2 is complete to fullback Harold Jackson, and he takes it down to the Clemson 4-yard line.
That was a very good call by the NC State offense. They line up in the power set, which is a running set. He fakes, and then he throws out to Harold Jackson, number 32. Excellent call on 3rd and short. And, of course, there's Abdullah, 53. Let's take another look at it. Barnett throws out. Oh, good job. That was an excellent call that caught Clemson right off guard.
First time they've thrown to the fullback this afternoon. 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. Jackson is back at fullback with Robinson. Here's the handoff, Robinson, and Robinson is in the end zone. Touchdown, NC State.
Boy, that's what running behind your shoulders will do. You could say he smelt the end zone, and he was going to it. Boy, what a big run by Robinson.
Big plays have keyed NC State's comeback from a 9-0 deficit, and pending Dan Deskovich's point after, they are now on the verge of going up by 5. An 85-yard touchdown pass to Torrey Holt, and then a fumble on a Clemson completion to Justin Watts set NC State up at the 21-yard line. And 4 plays later, they take it in. Ryan Hamrick to hold. There's the kick by Deskovich. It is good. Still perfect in his college career with his 14th point after touchdown kick. And Tommy West wondering if the turnover bug is going to put the Clemson Tigers under thus far this afternoon.
Well, we talked about Robinson running up in there, but give that offensive line credit. Look at that hole. The left side of that offensive line got some movement on the defense, and of course Robinson was able to go in there. You saw Rafferty and Boren. That was good blocking, good line blocking. There's number 70 right there. Knutson. Good job. Big number 60, Rafferty at left tackle.
Ian Rafferty, the 5th-year senior from Summerville, South Carolina, an excellent high school football program. NC State now has taken the lead after Clemson was spotted a 9-0 edge. The Wolfpack on their last 2 series. The last series set up by a fumble at the 21-yard line, have scored on a 4-yard run by Ray Robinson. Robinson now on the season has 6 touchdowns. Wolfpack now have a 14-9 lead with 3:11 left to go here in the second quarter. Kent Passingham is getting set to kick off. Beautiful day here at Clemson, but a crowd of about 55 to 60,000 is rather stunned at the turn of events. Their team came in here full of momentum, put 9 points up early. Their defense was playing well. The offense has sputtered.
Well, the offense is, if they just don't hurt themselves, they're all right. And they've turned the ball over and given State those opportunities.
24 turnovers on the season. comes the kick. It is fumbled by Clemson. Picking it up is Wofford, and Wofford gets it out to the 16, actually the 17-yard line. Tempers flare again. And Chris Coleman in for his second special teams tackle of the day. If you look at the scoring drive from the 21-yard line, they went in on 4 plays. Robinson, the 3-yard touchdown run, and an important 8-yard pass to Harold Jackson on 3rd and 2 kept the drive alive.
Well, that was a good call. I like that call. They lined up in a running formation. They faked up in there, and then they threw the ball out to the fullback.
It's David Bybee, the defensive back coach, discussing formations with his defensive secondary. 1st and 10, Brandon Streeter gives to Travis Zachary, and State's defense stiffens once more. Tackle made by Darius Bryant and Edrick Smith. To the sidelines we go, and Charlie Frederick.
2:49 away from halftime, but stay with us at halftime, because coming up we'll have scores of other games, highlights of this game between State and Clemson, and we'll talk to both head coaches, Mike O'Kane and Tommy West. Let's go back upstairs to Steve and the coach.
Thank you, Charlie. Interesting day around the ACC. Georgia Tech, as we showed you earlier, had another defensive conversion of a turnover into a touchdown. It's 7th this season. 2nd down and 11 for Clemson. Here is Zachary. A little more running room off the right side this time. Ball loose. Ball loose, and who's got it? NC State says they have it. Now the question is, was the ball blown dead? It's going to be NC State ball. Coming away with it. There it is. That's Nate Goodson. And Tommy West, shell-shocked at his team's 3rd turnover in this first half. They've had 3 turnovers in the last 4 drives.
Well, that's really not typical of a Clemson football team, because they always believe in ball security, and all of a sudden this year they're having it. Let's take a look at the fumble. Here it is right here. There's the ball to Zachary, the tailback. Oh, there's just a host of people that come in there. But it's Corey Smith, number 48, that actually comes up with it, causes the fumble.
He was the one who put his hand in there. Goodson came away with the ball, and NC State with the ball once again in Clemson territory, this time at the 19. Hand off to Robinson. Robinson hit by Jones, but goes ahead, and he is down to about the 16-yard line. Boy, last 4 series for Clemson: interception, punt, fumble, fumble.
Well, that was a good move there by Robinson. Jones had him, the linebacker Chris Jones had him wrapped up, and he just spun out of it and got a couple of yards out of it.
You know, Tommy West really disconsolate at this turn of events. And, you know, Coach, I know you prepare for everything, but you don't prepare for turnovers. You don't anticipate that your team's going to cough it up 3 times.
Not that many.
Nope. Here's Barnett out of the shotgun. Laird to Holt. Dangerous after the ball. Touchdown, NC State.
That's that little slip screen. What a very effective play. He throws it behind the line of scrimmage, and the linemen are able to get out in front and block. And, of course, Torrey Holt goes inside for the touchdown.
That's his 2nd touchdown pass of the day. First one was for 85 yards. That one covers 17. And NC State, coming from a 9-point deficit, takes a 20-9 lead. Holt on the day, 5 receptions, 139 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Daniel Descovich is becoming a little busy right now, as he's on to kick again. Clemson fans are stunned, and they should be. Out of Hamrick's hold, the kick is good.
Well, the turnovers cause those, Steve. I mean, they were in it, then all of a sudden they're just like gifts to NC State. Let's take a look at it. This is a little slip screen. You'll see the lineman get out in front. The ball is thrown behind the line to Torrey Holt. Good blocking up in front, and Holt takes it right into the end zone. Let's take a isolation there on Holt. You know, this guy does it all. What a big play football player he is. He's got the speed just to run by people.
Got a nice block from Justin Burrows and Jamie Barnett. Just another day at the office for Jamie. Said, I knew it all along. When you go on to 81, something good's going to happen. And Torrey Holt, who struggled last week, but this is his 12th game of 100 yards or more. 139 yards on this one.
Well, you know, Steve, they call it the Bolitnikov to the outstanding receiver, the Bolitnikov Award. They might be renaming it the Holt Award.
They might consider that. Torrey Holt, what a year. And that year continues, and he's brought NC State to a 21-9 lead. He scored 2 of the 3 touchdowns. NC State has scored touchdowns in our last 3 series, and 2 of those series have been set up by turnovers inside or at the Clemson 20-yard line. Passingham getting set to kick. We have 1:10 left to go in this first half. Wofford and Laird are back to receive. This is Wofford at the 8. Wofford ahead, brought down by Brian Williams at the 24-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 Clemson. They have run exactly 6 plays, actually 7 plays in the last 4 possessions. They've turned it over on the first play of 3 of the last 4 possessions.
Well, like you said, you know, Coach West is just scratching his head over the fact that they have been playing with such emotion, and then to give those gifts to NC State the opportunities.
Not just turnovers, but turnovers in the red zone. Streeter, there's the handoff. There's the pitch to Javis Austin, and Austin picks up yardage out to the 35-yard line.
Well, that was good blocking and a good move by Austin, cutting back inside and finding that crease in that defense.
Now, one thing we want to remind you is that Clemson has been a better second-half football team than a first-half football team. Let's watch
look at the blocking right here. And watch Austin turn back inside. What an excellent job. Halsey and Akil Smith did an excellent job blocking up front.
Akil Smith, the true freshman from Richmond, Virginia, the ball game now after the 12-yard gain. Here's Austin again.
What a block by the fullback, the option play.
And a flag on the play, however, at the 37-yard line.
That's Weatherspoon. The coaches talked about him yesterday.
It's a hold against Clemson.
Well, that's too bad. The option play has been very effective for Clemson so far in this ball game.
Let's see if we can see the hold.
That's a good job by Brandon Streeter. Watch number 26. Watch his block. Boom. He just runs right over it. Yeah, that's too bad that that play is negated.
It looked like one of the wide receivers held on the play. Yeah, Tommy was talking about Weatherspoon and his blocking abilities. He was a tailback in high school and at 250 pounds and didn't have to do an awful lot of blocking. But he has learned his craft. He's become a better blocker this year in his junior season. Handoff now goes to Austin. Austin outside and gets to the 39-yard line. It's a gain of about 8 on the play. Tony Scott brought him down. Austin is from here in Clemson, and the clock is going to run out on the Clemson Tigers. They were down 20-3 to Duke last week and came back and made a ball game of it. They're going to have to do pretty much similar here today as they have dug themselves a 21-9 hole here at Death Valley. Charlie Frederick is standing by with a coach in the lead right now, Mike O'Kane.
Mike, you found yourself down 9-0. Clemson made a couple of turnovers, but you had to take advantage of them, and you did.
Well, we did. You know, their defense is very tough, and we knew coming in if we had to play on a long field, it was going to be hard to score. And, you know, the early part of half we were, and then we got the ball midfield and couldn't get anything done. And, of course, the big play to Torrey kind of ignited us, and then defensively we create 2 big turnovers there, which obviously is a difference right now.
Coach, I thought one of the keys was after they scored the safety on you to go up 9-0, they got the ball back in good field position, but your defense came up big and stopped them.
Our defense is playing outstanding right now, and they're the reason we're in this ball game. You know, I have to put, you know, they're playing outstanding, making things happen, and they've created 3 turnovers now, the difference in the game.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Coach Mike O'Kane heads to the locker room with his Wolfpack on top of Clemson 21-9. We'll be back with more halftime information right after this.
ACC football is being brought to you by Bell South. Bell South is proud to be the official telecommunications company of the ACC. By Geico Direct, the sensible alternative. By Duckhead, khaki since 1865. By Dodge, the truck stop of the New South, the new Dodge. By Domino's Heat Wave, just one more way Domino's is delivering 1 million smiles a day. And by Jefferson Pilot Financial, complete financial planning and life insurance. We're helping you write the story of your life.
After a couple of sacks, and it looked like then, at that point, Bill, that Clemson had all the momentum. Their defense was playing well. Of course, they coughed the ball up on a safety. They were down 9-0 and forced NC State to punt on 3 straight possessions. But then came the horde of touchdowns after the turnovers.
Well, the big play was the blitz by Clemson that Jamie Barnett was falling backwards and threw that ball out to Torrey Holt. And, of course, that was a big touchdown play.
And here comes Clemson. They scored the second time they had the ball. Of course, they got the safety in between the second and third possessions. But then they look at the number of plays that they've had before the turnover. One possession, the turnover came on the first play, and then 2 other possessions, the fumbles occurred on the second play of the drive. Brandon Streeter knows what it's like to be down at halftime. He's been trailing at halftime most every game this season, but Clemson has come back and outscored opponents 73-68 in the second half. They came from a 20-3 deficit last week at Duke to come back and make it a ball game before falling 28-23. And now their chore is similar here against an NC State team that is playing very well.
Well, they just can't get themselves in that hole because they do come back in the second half and they played very well, but they get themselves in the hole in that first half.
You know, the thing about it is, Coach, one telling statistic, Clemson has been in the red zone only 12 times this season. There's Mal Lawyer with the return of the second half kick out to the 25-yard line. Adrian Wilson here on the tackle. And the Tigers will have the ball again, 1st and 10, and they'll be out at their own 25-yard line. So we'll see what happens here. See if there's a possible consideration maybe in the second series or 2. If Clemson can't move the ball, do you possibly make a change at quarterback? Because he's used Woody Dantzler a couple of times.
Well, the main thing is they just don't turn it off and kick it away and let their defense have a chance to do what they were doing in the first part of the ball.
That's the key that Tommy said yesterday. We just like to punt once in a while instead of giving it to somebody. 25 turnovers for Clemson this season. Streeter on 1st and 10. The pass is complete to Gardner. And he's dropped by Lloyd Harrison. It's going to be shy of the first down, but it's a nice way to open up. Well, a nice 7-yard reception.
That's that little draw play. You can see Streeter fake to Witherspoon, number 26, and then he throws right out. Very good job by Rod Gardner, 23, as he just curls in there and makes the reception. Lloyd Harrison, number 2, making the tackle.
Gain of 9, 2nd and 1. Long count for the junior from Pennsylvania as he hands off to Zachary, who's going to be close to the first down but may not have it. On 2nd and a yard. Coming up to make the tackle, Clayton White, who's had a fine game, the sophomore from Dunn, North Carolina. There's Zachary. It's going to be shy of the first down, shy enough not even to measure. So it'll be 3rd down and about 1.5 feet. We'll call it officially 3rd and 1. Witherspoon and Austin and Churchu, full house backfield. Eye with a wing to the right and a handoff. Fumble! Pick up by Jason Perry. Witherspoon was hit as he got to the line of scrimmage, and Perry is in pursuit of the end zone. Perry gets in there for a touchdown on the 4th Clemson turnover of the day. A 35-yard fumble return.
What a tackle to jar that ball loose. I mean, that was unbelievable. And Jason Perry was heads up, had good concentration on the ball in the air, picks it off and goes for the touchdown. Boy, you can't ask for a better tackle than that.
Brandon Streeter to the sidelines. He's wondering what's he got to do to get this thing turned around. NC State now about ready to kick the extra point. Streeter. The Clemson fans are stunned. 4 turnovers on the last 5 possessions for the Tigers, dating back into the first half. Out of the hold of Ryan Hamrick, Daniel Deskovich to kick it away. And the point after is good. And NC State surges ahead 28-9. Let's see it again.
Let's see the hit or the tackle. I wouldn't call it a hit. I'd say it's a tackle. They knocked him right loose from that ball, and that's key. Here's right 26 Witherspoon. The ball comes out. Key makes the hit. And of course, there's Jason Perry, number 9. And you're not going to catch Jason Perry. He is a track man, and he holds the ACC record in the 60-meter. There's no one going to be near him.
And he got a good block for measure at the end on Edrick Smith. And so NC State has turned this ball game around. They've done it on turnovers, scoring 3 of their last 4 touchdowns as a result of a turnover. This one directly results in a score as Witherspoon was hit and jarred. And Tommy West is on the headset, and he is upset.
And rightfully so. Anytime that you hurt yourself with turnovers, fumbles, interceptions, you feel like you're giving it to them, and they're not earning it as much.
3 fumbles and 1 interception.
There it is again.
And 21 points given up to turnovers. So it is going to be Kent Passingham kicking off again. NC State has made good use of the clock. They've only had the ball 11 minutes in this game, and in the last 7 minutes that they've had the ball, they've scored 28 points. Passingham with the kick. This will be Mal Lawyer at the 9. Lawyer cuts up inside and gets out to the 31-yard line. A nice little return.
Got a flag.
Flag is thrown in back of the 27-yard line. Anthony Kaysen in on the tackle. But a flag here on the play. And it's going to be against Clemson, I believe.
Receiving team 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
And it'll be marked back to the 16-yard line, as if Clemson needs any other problems to beset them. 28-9. It was 9-0 Clemson. Torrey Holt's first touchdown was an 85-yard pass reception. That was not after a turnover. Every score hereafter has come as a result of a turnover. Streeter hands off, and the carry is by Zachary, and Zachary tries the left side of the line, and he is brought down. And brought down there by Goodson, and also Turks in there on the tackle as well. And Greg Derrick. And the important thing now here, Bill, for Clemson is to just forget looking at the scoreboard at the moment and just try to generate some sort of continuity.
That's right. Hold on to the football, get the ball up the field, and just forget about what's happened in the past. It's not going to do any good right now.
28-9 out of the shotgun. Streeter back to throw. Streeter moves the pocket a little bit and overthrows Brian Wofford. Pretty good coverage and a pass rush that was drawing a bead on him.
Well, give credit to the NC State defense. They only rushed 3 people. They dropped 8, and there was no place for Brandon Streeter to throw the football, so he had to throw it over his head. So an excellent job by the NC State defense.
And an excellent catch by Mike O'Kane, who caught the ball going out of bounds. That's what the laughter is for.
Well, I didn't know old quarterbacks could catch like that.
That's right. He was a good one. Watch it again. Let's see.
He goes up. Yeah, he left his feet a little bit to get that. That's a good job, Coach O'Kane.
Just like flypaper. 3rd down and 9. Out of the shotgun, Streeter to throw. It is complete to Lawyer, and Lawyer makes the second effort and gets the first down at the 29-yard line.
Well, that was well executed. You know, when Brandon Streeter has time to set his feet and throw the ball, they do a good job. And of course, they've got 2 excellent receivers, Lawyer, who just caught the ball, and Wofford, who is very good. Let's take a look at it. Watch Streeter set his feet and throw the ball. And Lawyer does a good job of catching it. And that's Tony Scott, number 27, the quarterback, making the tackle.
First down. Clemson moving the ball out to their 29-yard line. Gain on the play of 11. Streeter going up. Nice little soft pass. It is intended out there, and an interference penalty intended out there for Matt Bailey. And if this is interference, Bill, this is going to be the first interference penalty on NC State this year.
Well, that's what it is. It's got to be on number 27, Tony Scott. It looks as if he had a hold of his hand when he went up to go after the ball. He had his arm.
Player coming off, Corey Halsey coming off, holding his left shoulder, or right shoulder, as he goes to the sideline. Here's Mike O'Kane waiting for the call.
All right, let's take a look at it. There's number 27 going up. And I guess they say he pushed him with his right hand, his off hand. He had his left hand up in the air. And he said that Tony Scott, number 27, pushed him with his right hand.
First interference penalty, and only the second of the day against NC State. Keel Smith, Neely Page, and Kyle Young are in the ball game. Now you have freshmen or true freshmen in the offensive line for Clemson. Streeter is going to run, and he gets into NC State territory. A nice gain of 6. So the 15 yards on the penalty drags them out to the 45-yard line. Add 6 more, and you're down to the NC State 49. William Pennell on the tackle.
Well, this is what the crowd was hollering about. Lawyer was wide open, number 84, but Brandon Streeter wasn't able to see him and get the ball to him. But that would have been a touchdown if he'd have just laid it out there.
Second down and 4. A 6-yard gain by Streeter on the line. Handoff now goes to Witherspoon. Witherspoon puts an extra hand on the ball as he got hit again. He was the one who coughed it up last time. The tackle made on the play by Darius Bryant, freshman from Suffolk, Virginia. It's a gain of about 3.
Right, let's take a look at it. There's Witherspoon. Watch him move his feet as he spins outside, puts both hands on the ball to keep from fumbling it, and he almost gets the first down. It's 3rd and short.
Clemson is 3 of 8 on 3rd down. They trail here 28-9. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Streeter. Handoff, going for the first down. Looks like he's got it. At the 44 of the Wolfpack. LeVar Fisher and Jason Perry in on the tackle. There's Corey Halsey. Came out holding that right shoulder there, and there you see him flexing it.
Well, he made the block there that helped on that option play for Brandon Streeter to keep inside to make the first down. So Big Halsey, he's big now, 6'6", 338 pounds. Well, that guy is big.
And that's at the beginning of the season. All right, 1st and 10. Back to throw. Streeter, pass complete to Wofford at the NC State 39-yard line. A gain of 5. Tackling on the play, Lloyd Harrison. So this is a good ego-building drive as we look at it from the end zone.
Well, watch Streeter. Again, he's got time to set his feet, throws the ball out. Very good thrown ball to Wofford, and he almost got loose from Lloyd Harrison, number 2. That's just a little turnout pattern that was wide open.
Drive now, and it's 8th play. Streeter on the day, 10 out of 17. And 87 yards. It's 2nd and 5. Pitch now comes to Adams, and Adams has some daylight. Diamond Adams inside the 30 down to the 24-yard line. Nice gain on the play. The tackle, Rodney Red, and it's a gain on the play of 10 or 11 yards.
Well, let's take a look at the hole as we see Adams go up inside. Good blocking by Jason Gamble. Look at the hole open up in there. And there's Keel Smith doing a good job. But, you know, I can almost run up in that hole myself. I don't know. It was big.
Leaping down into the stands. 1st and 10. At the NC State 26-yard line. Streeter to the flats. It is complete. Pass completed to number 81, Mike Seth. Sophomore from Sumter, South Carolina. Drags him down close to the first down. That'll be down to the 20-yard line, actually the 19.
Well, that's that little 3-step drop pass. Good job and there's Mike Seth making it. That's a very good play. Nice little three-step. Keeps the ball outside where there's no chance for the defender to break it up at all.
Diamond Adams is back in the tailback position. That's Witherspoon moving before the play. Here's Adams off Witherspoon's block, and he's got the first down. Down to the 13-yard line. It's a gain of 5 more for Clemson. And this is a nice drive, and now the crowd's starting to support the Tigers as they surge inside the red zone, a place that they have only journeyed 12 times previously.
Well, again, that's the option play. They've been very effective for them. Streeter comes down the line, makes the pitch with good blocking by Terry Witherspoon, the fullback, leading the play.
We're at the 13-yard line, 1st and 10. Streeter at the quarterback spot. Austin and Witherspoon next to him. Rolling left, pass completed to Laird. And Laird is inside the 10 and ruled out at the 8-yard line. A gain of 5. Harrison forced him out.
Well, Streeter's been very impressive in this drive. He's been able to get his feet straight, keep his shoulder square, and deliver the football, and has been very effective. Let's take a look at it. He rolls to his left, and there's the ball. Very well thrown ball. Laird makes a good catch. And of course, there's Lloyd Harrison, number 2, knocking him out of bounds. He's keeping the ball on the outside where no one can break it up. And that's where you want to deliver that kind of pass.
His 4th reception for 29 yards. 2nd down and 5 at the 8-yard line. Here is Diamond Adams, and he's inside the 5.
That's another good cut. Kyle Young does a good job on that play. But that's a good cut by Adams as he starts to his left, finds the soft spot, finds the crease of the defense back to his right.
Looks like Corey Halsey's going to be all right. Word from the sideline. He has a little stinger in that right shoulder, and they're going to try to send him back into the ball game. And we have a official's timeout for a measurement here as Adams got very close to the first down. He's down there near the 3. This particular series of downs started at the 13. He has the first down. 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Tommy West wants very much for his offense to gain some confidence. Corey Halsey back in at left guard. Gained some confidence after coughing the ball up 4 times. 3 of them resulting in NC State touchdowns. Now they have a chance to get one of their own. 12th play of the drive. Bailey in motion across the formation. Streeter hands off to Witherspoon, who chugs his way to the 1.
Well, the crowd liked the effort by Witherspoon. He hit up in there and just kept fighting and fighting and got another little yard and a half out of that run just by second effort.
You know, the NC State offense hasn't taken the field yet. Let's look at it.
Let's take a look at it. Boy, he just keeps moving his feet, That's good running.
2nd and goal. Ball is at the 1-yard line. Clemson needs one for spirit's sake here. They can get themselves back into this ball game. Down 28-9. Churchu in motion. Handoff goes to Austin. Austin could be in there. Touchdown, Clemson. Plays, and they move it 82 yards. And from 2 yards out, 1 yard out, it is Austin, and a 2-point conversion attempt coming up here for the Clemson Tigers. An opportunity to reduce a 13-point deficit down to 11. As Tommy West sees his Clemson offense get back into the ball game.
Well, that's about as good a drive as you'll see. Brandon Streeter threw some excellent passes, good tough running, and good line blocking up front. So they put it all together.
Yes, they did. Big pass reception to Seth, another one to now Laird. A pass interference call that was incidental getting them past midfield. Here's Streeter for the 2-point conversion. The pitch shovel pass to Austin. He got it.
That's the old Utah shovel pass. Very effective.
Javis Austin with the 2-point conversion, and looky here. Clemson's only 11 back. And we have plenty of time here in the third quarter with 6.5 to play. Clemson got back into this ball game. They're second and goal from the 1-yard line. And the handoff to Javis Austin. And Austin close to breaking the plane, and then on second effort. Boy, that was close. That was closer than we thought.
He broke that plane. As you can see, John Godbolt was right there. This is a Utah shuffle pass. There it is right there to Austin. Watch him run right out of the arms of Edrick Smith, the middle linebacker. Good execution on that play from Brandon Streeter to Austin.
Austin scoring 8 points on that drive. And the Clemson Tigers are back in this thing. They're down by 11. And their offense with newfound confidence as they moved it 82 yards in 14 plays. And NC State, their offense hasn't yet taken the field in this second half. And the kick goes out of bounds. And it's going to be NC State ball at the 35-yard line. So just when your sails are full of air, bang.
And normally Smith has kicked that ball in the end zone. They say most of the time when he kicks off, it goes in the end zone.
It didn't that time, and now NC State is going to have field position at the 35-yard line. Now we should note that the Clemson Tigers are going here without their top defensive back, Antoine Edwards, who left with a hamstring injury in the first half. And that is an area that of concern for Tommy West, because that's an area probably that Michael Caine would like Jamie Barnett to visit here in the second half. First time, however, the offense has taken the field for the Wolfpack. Holt to the wide side. Coleman to the short side of the field. Then it goes to Robinson. And Clemson in heavy pursuit. Carswell in on the tackle. Gary Childress was in the vicinity.
Well, that was an excellent play by the defensive end of Clemson, making that play go way outside and not having an opportunity to get any yardage out of it.
Look at the total yards. Wolfpack with only -4 to show here in the second half. And they come out here on first down. Second down, actually. Second down and 14. Play action for Barnett. Going upstairs for Coleman, and he had his hand on it, but Carswell hit him and he let go.
Gosh, what a hit by Carswell. Coleman had that ball and Carswell stripped him of it. I mean, he had it in his hands.
Almost like he had to reach over his shoulder and get it.
Let's take a look at it. There's Coleman. He goes up for the ball right here, and oh, there's Carswell right there. Hits him just as he was getting ready to bring it in. So good defensive play by Carswell, the defensive back. There's another angle of it, and you can see that he jarred him loose from that football.
Third down and 14. State with a 28-17 lead. Looking to hold on to the football, and here is Robinson. And he's going to be close to the first down, but he's going to come up just short by about a yard to the 44-yard line. He needs the 45 for a first down, so Clemson is held. Jones comes up on the tackle. It's a gain of 13 on the play, but they needed 14, and the punting unit is on.
Well, it seems like the crowd's getting into the game now. The Clemson people are supporting the team. I think they're getting a little momentum. They're gaining some momentum.
And again, it's their defense that does the job. Here's the kick by Earwood. Good hang time. Zachary takes it at the 15. And Zachary gets up to the 23. A nice 8-yard return, a 43-yard kick, the tackle by the snapper, Andy Mallard. And Clemson now will have the football back, having not turned it over and having their defense do the job. It's 28-17, NC State in the lead. Plenty of time left in this one. They've driven the ball the last time they had the ball. And Bill, this is an important possession for them.
Well, it certainly is. If they can get a repeat of what they did this last time they had the ball, we will have a heck of a ball game. We have one right now.
Yes, we do. And that little girl will be very, very happy with the orange and white streamers. And Georgia Tech, after spotting Maryland a 14-7 lead, has come roaring back with 24 unanswered points, leading 31-14. First and 10. Streeter back to throw. Up the middle, wide open to his tight end. to T.J. Watkins.
He fumbled the ball and picked it up.
And there to pick it up is Zachary. But they're going to bring it back. Cannot advance the ball. The offensive player, anyway, can't from that spot. So it'll go down where T.J. Watkins went down. Nonetheless, it's a big gain of 33.
Watkins is wide open. Let's watch number 88. Brandon Streeter finds him. There's no one on him. He goes right down the field. And there's that problem again. Jason Perry coming in makes a tackle, but you've got to hold on to that football.
Well, almost the 5th turnover of the day, but Zachary was there to pick it up, and it keeps the ball in possession of Clemson at the 43-yard line. And going straight ahead, Diamond Adams gets down to the 40. Gain of 3. But again here, Bill, you're seeing good continuity here by Clemson.
Well, there's no doubt about it. And I'm really impressed with Brandon Streeter in the last 2 possessions that he's put the ball right on the money. I mean, he's put it where no one can get it, particularly on his out patterns.
Coming up 2nd down and 8. Ball at the 40-yard line after the gain of 2. Adams is back there at the tailback position. Terry Witherspoon is the fullback. Here is Adams, and he is met by Edrick Smith. Edrick Smith and Corey Smith meet him at the line of scrimmage. Edrick is the true freshman out of Northport, Alabama.
Let's take a look at it. As he had a wall in there. Edrick Smith and also Fisher, number 44, the strong linebacker, was there too.
Those are 2 true freshmen that you just talked about. That's amazing. Is playing as well as they can and as well as they have. It bodes well for NC State's defense in the future. 3rd down and 9. Clemson trying to keep this drive moving. Trailing 28-17.
Comes a blitz.
Streeter with the ball, and he is not going to get rid of it. Edrick Smith on the sack. Back to the 50-yard line.
He was wide open. No one touched him. He came through the line of scrimmage there clean. And of course, he doesn't have a chance when you get that situation. Let's take a look at it. There's 53. Edrick Smith coming in. That was Jason Gamble trying to block on him, and poor Brandon Streeter just didn't have time to do anything.
And so we're going to have a punt here on the loss of 8, the 2nd sack of the game for NC State. Kevin Laird lofts one up nicely. Holt will try to get away from it. Clemson will down it inside the 5.
What a
2-yard line. Couldn't ask of anything better out of Kevin Laird. A 47-yard kick, no return, and NC State backed up to their own 2-yard line. NC State has an 11-point lead, but they've got 98 yards to go for a score. We'll return after these messages from your local ACC station. NC State 28-17 over Clemson, and they've got NC State in a hole. Now, if you're Reggie Herring, the defensive coordinator, you know what he wants to do, but can he get away with doing it now, sending people with Antoine Edwards hurt?
Well, it's really a concern if you're going to hook up one-on-one on Torrey Holt. I don't know if you want to take the chance to blitz and get one-on-one coverage.
Holt is to the top side of the screen, and Dextra Polite has him. And looking his way is Barnett. And Polite just cut down the real estate in half on him.
Well, they had him one-on-one. They brought Abdullah. Abdullah's on the blitz, and they had one-on-one coverage on Holt. Here he is, 53, Raheem Abdullah. But he's picked up. Good job by NC State of picking up the blitz. And let's take a look at the coverage now. There's Holt. He's going to do what we call a sideline and up. But Old Polite does a good job of staying with him. 34, the young defensive back from Clemson.
So we got our answer real quick. There's Barnett in the game. Oh, wow. Clemson dictating the terms now. Butler, the fullback, got the carry that time. Gets out to the 3-yard line, a gain of a yard. First carry for Butler.
Let's look at the orange shirts just swarm Butler, the fullback. There's Dingle, number 52 in there, and just a host of orange jerseys making that stop.
And now the Clemson faithful stand and applaud their defense. We got our answer from Reggie Herring. He sent everybody that last play. No way you cut anything short. 3rd down and 9. Barnett in the end zone. A momentum switcher coming. Here he goes. Barnett scrambles, tosses, and Coleman can't hang on. The Clemson defense holds once again. 3 and out for the Wolfpack in hostile territory.
Well, that's what's so scary. This is what Barnett is so effective. Watch him scramble, and the receiver is wide open. He just drops the football. Had he have not dropped it, that would have been a first down. That's Ricky Collins trying to make that catch. Number 19.
Oh, Potty English. And Earwood gets off a short punt. Zachary will field it at the 38 and go no further, but Clemson will have excellent field position after the 35-yard punt. Adrian Wilson downs him on the play, but it's going to be Clemson ball with 1:04 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. And the Tigers, who have dominated the yardage markers here in the 2nd half. Fans, to complement our television broadcast, Jefferson Pilot Sports brings you jpsports.com on the internet. Log on soon and send us your favorite Fanatic picture. Now, if selected, we'll put it on our website, and we'll send you a JP Sports golf shirt that you can appear in next time you try that. 1st and 10. Clemson looking to narrow the margin here. They're at the NC State 38-yard line. They've owned the ball most of this 2nd half. Ball is thrown out, incomplete for Wofford, and play was broken up by Marcel Huff.
That was a very, very good defensive play by Marcel Hogue. You know, to break that play up, the ball was put where you want it on the outside, but 21 came in and got his hand to keep Wofford from making the catch. Let's take a look at it now. Watch number 25, the inside receiver, break out to what we call the flag position. Marcel Hogue gets his left hand in there, makes a good play to keep the reception from being successful.
Brandon Streeter on the day. He's thrown 1 interception, but he's seen his backs cough up the ball 3 times. Streeter, plenty of time, little screen inside. It goes to Austin, but there's not much room there. Gets about 5 yards on it. And it'll be 2nd down. Down to the 33-yard line. So a gain of 5. 2nd down and 5 coming.
They were trying to take advantage of the linebackers backing out of there. And let's take a look at it. They want to get the linebackers back and just throw it to Austin underneath. But Fisher and Edrick Smith, number 53, react back up after the reception.
Clock running, 21 seconds left to go. In the 3rd quarter, Streeter changing up. Play clock down to 6. Gets it away in time. 3-step drop and a pass complete to Gardner for the 1st down and more. Taken out of bounds by Tony Cason. At the 15, make it the 13-yard line.
That's another well-executed play with a 3-step drop, as you mentioned. Quick pass out to Rod Gardner. And, you know, he's a big target. This guy's 6'4", 217 pounds. Let's take a look at it. 1, 2, 3. He delivers the ball. And watch Gardner get some extra yardage after he catches it. That stop is by Anthony Cason, number 7.
Streeter's used 8 different receivers today. That time he goes to Gardner for 15 yards. It is 1st and 10. Ball at the 19 of NC State. And now we have a penalty flag here on the sideline with 5 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Speed legal procedure.
Dead ball, false start.
Yes, it is.
Offense, 5 yards.
Referee Jim Knight says it's illegal procedure. That was both a call by the umpire and the field judge.
5 seconds to go in the quarter. This will back Clemson out to the NC State 24-yard line. But the Tigers have dominated this 3rd quarter, outgaining NC State 126-8. with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and they're trying to ram another one in here. Streeter on the run, last play of the quarter. Streeter throws for the sidelines for Wofford, and it's out of bounds. Good coverage that time by Marcel Huff, and that'll end the third quarter of play. So the third quarter comes to a close. It's Clemson's quarter, save for a fumble and a return for a touchdown that puts NC State in the lead, 28-17. Steve Martin, Bill Dooley, Charlie Frederick on the scene for the 18th renewal of the Textile Bowl, and it's been everything we expected. 4 turnovers for the Clemson Tigers. 3 of them have resulted in NC State scores. But now it is Clemson, after driving the length of the field on a march of 82 yards for a score and a 2-point conversion to cut it to 11. And now second down and 15 at the 23 of NC State, driving for another score that can draw them even closer. Pass is complete in the slot to Wofford. Wofford into the 15-yard line.
Well, there's that slip screen pass again. Very effective. Wofford took that ball, and I thought he was going to cut up inside. Had he have, he'd have got more yardage. Just take a look at it. The blocking's out in front. There's number 25, Wofford. Good blocking and an excellent play by the linebacker, number 15, Clayton White, a shoestring tackle.
But as you said, Bill, there was running room to the inside.
Oh, there was a lot of running room to the inside, Steve.
There wasn't anybody for another 5 yards. And that would have gotten the first down. Wofford 5 pass receptions for 48 yards, and now it's 3rd down and 6. And the ball is at the 15-yard line, and a timeout called by Clemson. An important play on this drive, because this is the one to keep it alive. You have the option to kick a field goal, but that keeps you 8 points behind, so you want to try to score.
That's right. You definitely need to score.
Let's take a look at our Duckhead stats through 3 quarters of play here at Death Valley this afternoon. And you will see that Clemson owns 2 things here. They own total yards. If you had time of possession, you would see heavily in favor of Clemson. But the 4 turnovers have outdone them today so far. And let's go to the sidelines and Charlie Frederick.
Guys, I think fatigue may be becoming a factor for the NC State defense. They were on the field almost the entire third quarter as the State offense ran only 6 plays. It's hot out here, and a lot of the State players are bending over when they get a chance to try to grab a breath. So they would love to see State get the ball no matter what happens on this Clemson drive. They'd love to see State hold on to it, pick up a couple of first downs so they could get some rest.
All right, now they're nowhere close to getting off the field. 28-17. NC State in the lead, and NC State defending at their own 15-yard line, and a 3rd down coming and 6 to go for the first down.
You know, Charlie, that was a good observation, but Clemson has been playing a lot of different offensive linemen, and as a result, I think they're going to be a little bit fresher than what the NC State Wolfpack defense will be. Their offensive line has been changing up in there with new personnel.
On the left side, it's Edrick Smith and Corey Halsey now. 3rd down and 6. Big play in this game for Brandon Streeter. His team trailing by 11. They're at the Wolfpack 14-yard line. Streeter with time. The ball in the end zone. Touchdown now, Lawyer.
Well executed play. Very well executed.
Look out. We got us a game now. 28-23.
Streeter took his time and waited for Lawyer to find the open spot, and he put the ball right on the money.
28-24 the score, and Richardson on to kick the point after. There's the kick, and it is good. The Clemson Tigers pull to within 4.
Let's take a look at it.
24.
Well thrown football to Lawyer, breaking across
stride. 1st and 10 at the Clemson 42. Here's the option, Barnett. And Harold Means is there to help on the stop, along with, looks like, Freddie James. The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Jefferson Pilot Sports. This broadcast is a copyright presentation. Any use of this broadcast without the express permission of the Atlantic Coast Conference and Jefferson Pilot Sports is prohibited.
Well, Means went over the lineman laying on the ground, the blockers. He went over the top flying and made that tackle.
Means from Spartanburg, South Carolina. He's a junior. Second down and 9. All at the 41. NC State sitting on a 4-point lead. Play action for Jamie Barnett. Big rush on. Hit as he threw, but it's complete to Holt. Holt all the way in. Touchdown NC State. 41 yards to Torrey Holt.
Well, they're just that explosive. They're just very, very difficult to stop Torrey Holt one-on-one.
3 touchdowns on the day for Torrey Holt.
That was Alex Hartley covering, and you know, it's very difficult to cover that young man. He came across the field, and of course Barnett put it right where it needed to be.
And he took a hit after he delivered it too, Bill, because Clemson was putting a big rush on. Here comes Dan Deskovitz for the point after, and NC State has extended their lead to 10 just like that. They do it in about 6 plays, and Holt had a roll in 2 of them. There's the kick by Deskovitz, and it is good. So touchdown NC State, and it's all of a sudden an 11-point game once again. High-scoring affair between the Wolfpack and the Tigers in Death Valley. Wolfpack showed you just how quickly they can score the football. In only 5 plays, they lead at 35-24. Torrey Holt was the key figure on that drive with 3 receptions, including the 41-yard touchdown strike from Jamie Barnett. And Passingham is going to kick it away, and the Tigers will get ready to receive. It's Wofford and Mal Lawyer. Brian Wofford and Mal Lawyer back to get it for Clemson. Steve Martin, Bill Dooley, Charlie Frederick here on a sun-splashed day in the upstate of South Carolina. Here's Wofford. Wofford cannot get away from Adrian Wilson. Let's take a look at Torrey Holt's touchdown.
He fakes to the tailback, Robinson. Then he comes right across the middle and finds Holt. There's Artley trying to keep his feet. But, you know, once old Holt catches that ball, there's no way to catch up with him. Comes right across, and the ball's right there. Jamie Barnett really took a hit after he delivered that football. And let's take a look at that hit. Fakes to Robinson, the tailback. And good gosh, he gets it. There's Jolly, Terry Jolly, number 92, the defensive lineman from Clemson.
First and 10. First and 10 at the 16-yard line. Here's Streeter to throw. It's a little slant in to Javis Austin. And you got to wonder. There's Antoine Edwards now in street clothes after the hamstring injury. Could he have made a difference on that coverage of Torrey Holt? He didn't get a chance to match up. He's been missing since midway through the second quarter. Of course, time will tell whether or not he'll be able to participate in Clemson's final 2 games.
Well, he's an excellent defensive back. Mentioned again the Jim Thorpe Award finalist, and you just don't even get mentioned unless you do an outstanding job.
Had something like 18 passes broken up to lead the conference this year. Here's Streeter. Pass is complete. Now Lawyer, and a flag on the play. Out to the 36-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 19. Jason Perry on the tackle. Let's see what the call is going to be.
I believe it's pass interference.
It's a 19-yard gain.
That's exactly what it is.
And I think it's going to be, it may be declined.
Let's take a look. You know, this is Brandon Streeter has really thrown the ball well. Let's take a look at it now. Watch Lawyer cut inside right in front of Jason Perry, and Jason had his hand on Lawyer's arm when he caught the football.
On the
Good
defense,
call.
the pass is complete. The penalty is declined.
They're going to decline the penalty because the pass reception gave him 16 yards instead of 15 yards. So
good move.
They'll take the result of the play out to the 37-yard line. A polite no thank you to Jim Knight, and Clemson keeps moving the football. Watts and Wofford are split wide to the wide side of the field, the top side of your screen. That's Streeter in the shotgun on 1st and 10 at the 37. Back to throw. Has some time. Pass complete to Javis Austin, but only for about 3 yards to the 40-yard line. You know, the other thing, that he's received, Bill, is good protection in the second half.
Well, they only rushed 3 people that time. State dropped 8, and they wanted them to throw underneath. And old Fisher, number 44, soon as the ball was thrown, he broke up on it and made a good stop and only a 2-yard gain. So a lot of times State is playing defend rather than rush.
Bar Fisher felt that hit. He's on the sideline. William Pinnell in his spot. Second down and about 7. Here's the little shovel pass again that they scored on. The 2-point conversion. Javis Austin gets enough yardage up close to the first down. Probably has it. Yes, he does. Out to the 48-yard line. It's a gain of 8. Adrian Wilson on the tackle. So Clemson moves the chains.
Well, they've executed that play very well. The old Utah shuffle, they call it, because Utah, the one that started it, and it just shoveled the ball right back inside. You know, again, Brandon Streeter has been very impressive in this ball game.
And that's despite the fact that his offense has coughed up 4 turnovers. He's 14 for 17 and 147 yards in the second half. Back to throw again. 4-man rush this time, going deep, and hey, Wofford, touchdown! What concentration by Brian Wofford! A 52-yard strike.
Oh, Streeter laid that ball up and let Wofford run right underneath it. Harrison was covering number 2, but wasn't able to do anything about it. Brian Wofford, as you mentioned, had great concentration on the football.
And Clemson going for 2. They're 5 back. They want to reduce this to just a field goal difference between themselves and NC State. Wofford, 6 receptions, 100 yards, 52 on that last strike, and a touchdown to pull Clemson to within 5. Brandon Streeter converted last time for 2. Michael Caine looks on. He had adequate pass rush that time. They had 4 bodies in and possibly a 5th. But Wofford beat Harrison on one-on-one coverage for the score. Streeter looking to throw. Little zip pass in for Gardner. Couldn't let it go.
Little slant in.
So the 2-point conversion falls to the sideline as Harrison defends. Big Rob Gardner on the side. It's going to be NC State leading by 5 when we come back. In Death Valley, it's been a point fest between NC State and Clemson in this 18th renewal of the Textile Bowl, led by the Wolfpack 35-30. Brian Wofford, the man of the moment, with the touchdown reception. And that's going to be his 4th of the season, his 9th of his career. Pulls the Tigers to within 5 points. They missed the 2-point conversion on the pass attempt to Gardner. But Brandon Streeter has been on the mark in this second half. And he has led the Clemson Tigers from a 19-point deficit back to within 5, despite 4 turnovers by his offense. This one will be down in the end zone by Collins. As we take a look at the touchdown again, a great individual effort by Brian Wofford.
There's no doubt about it. Watch Streeter as he sets his feet and releases this football. He lays it up, puts enough air under the ball for Brian Wofford to run right under it. Wofford did a good job because he stayed inside of himself and the defender. Watch. The defender would have to interfere with him to break that ball up.
Brandon Streeter with his 2nd touchdown pass of this second half. Brian Wofford's 9th career touchdown catch. NC State back on the field offensively, 1st and 10. That's Coleman across the formation, and this is Ray Robinson. And there's not much running room there. Chris Jones. Also Michael Allen in on the tackle for the Tigers.
Well, a lot of orange shirts, and Jones is right there. Let's take a look at it. Watch number 57, Jones, makes the first hit on him, and then Allen, number 10, comes in. And, of course, the crowd here at Clemson gets excited, and it gets a little momentum building up, Steve.
Their defense has played well all afternoon. They've played a little much in the first half. They're well rested here in the second. Holt across the formation. Barnett on the pitch to Robinson to the corner, and he's shot down by Raheem Abdullah.
Boy, there was a lot of running room. If Raheem Abdullah had not been there, that ball would have gone down the field 25 or 30 yards. Let's take a look at Raheem Abdullah as he reacts out on the option play. This is the counter option play. Makes that plot on Robinson, who has excellent speed.
Now, those backs are reacting to the misdirection and the motion by Holt. That's how much respect they gave him. They had to double back and catch the option to the opposite side.
Exactly right.
Second down, actually third down now. And 8. Barnett, his team up by 5. The screen complete.
Well, it was wide open. Robinson just took his eyes off of it. Just for a second, Ray Robinson was right in his hands, and he just took it off. Here's Barnett back to pass. Then he throws out to Robinson, and you can see that he was looking inside to see where the pursuit was coming from, and he took his eyes off just long enough to make it an incomplete pass.
All right, NC State to punt. This is always exciting. They've had troubles with punts lately. Earwood gets it off. Oh, and this is going to be a short one taken by Zachary inside NC State territory. And the Tigers will have excellent field position at the 45-yard line. It's only a 30-yard punt, a 7-yard return. Well, it's been a wild finish between these two teams. You got to look back to last year when they met at Carter Finley Stadium. Look at this play as Barnett is sacked. He's hit. Raheem Abdullah picks it up. This is Clemson's only touchdown of the day. They had 4 field goals by Matt Paget. That a 74-yard return by Raheem Abdullah. And then it came down to the foot of Matt Paget with 20 seconds to go. From 20 yards out, he hits the field goal, and Clemson beats NC State. Could we be in for a similar finish this afternoon? It's going to be close. We know that. 1st and 10 at the 44 of NC State. Here's Streeter to throw. Has time. Complete. It's to Laird. First down of the NC State 28-yard line.
Well, you just got to be impressed with Streeter. He sits in there. He takes his time. He waits for Laird to get open, and he throws the ball right where it should be.
Let's take a look at it.
There's a good throw, right? And there's Laird coming across, and number 29 is trying to break up the play. That's Brian Wilson, a young freshman.
1st and 10 at the Wolfpack 28-yard line after the 16-yard gain. Streeter has had all the time of the world to throw here in the second half. 3-man rush, inside slot, goes now to Wofford, and he fights his way down to the 25-yard line. They'll mark his forward progress for a 3-yard gain. Adrian Wilson in on the tackle for the Wolfpack.
That's that little slip screen again. In Wofford, if he'd have cut the other way that time, he would have picked up more yards. He only made 3 yards, but the play was wide open.
And look at Brandon Streeter's numbers on the afternoon. He's had a great day. 24 of 33. This is for the game in the second half. He's only missed 4 passes. 279 yards, 2 TD. Brandon Streeter. Second down now and 7 at the 25. Scrambles out of the pocket. Has some time. Touchdown!
Well, this guy has been impressive. Brandon Streeter has really been impressive this afternoon. Showed a lot of poise, taking his time, rolling out to his right, and throwing the ball in there.
Clemson retakes the lead for the first time since late in the first quarter. Mike O'Kane wonders what this steamroller is all about. Well, it's about Brandon Streeter making connections, that time scrambling out of the package for 25 yards and a touchdown to Laird, his second reception in the end zone today. And the Tigers are on top, 36-35. That's the 8th catch of the day for Matt Laird, 100 yards and 2 scores. Going for 2. Crowd falls to a hush here as Streeter getting ready to try to give his team a 3-point lead. Streeter again lofts it for the corner. Gardner over Harrison, and it won't work.
Well, they tried to throw the little fade pattern, hopefully that he could come up with it, but he didn't get the ball quite deep enough.
But It's Clemson on top, and now fighting from a position where they're in the lead. Their defense feeling refreshed. They've stopped State cold except for one drive as they score in 3 plays from 44 yards out.
Let's take a look at the touchdown. Watch Streeter. Now he scrambles out to his right. He finds Laird coming across the field, and Laird makes a good reception. And of course, outstanding play. Jason Perry was covering. Let's take another look at it. Watch him scramble to his right. Takes his time and finds Mal Laird. He goes up and makes a catch. Boy, I'm telling you, this Clemson football team has been on fire this second half.
They've been snake bitten all season. Let's look another look at here. As he scrambled out of the pocket, picked up a big block. That gave him time to unleash to Mal Laird. I think it was Corey Halsey, I think, put a big block on the corner. And look at the Clemson fans now. They're excited about their team. They may be 2-6, but they're putting on a show here this afternoon.
Well, again, there's one thing you need to realize. NC State is very, very explosive. And those defensive linemen are going to have to put pressure on Barnett, because with the weapons that NC State have, they can score in a hurry.
And that brings you back to the point we've made so often here in the second half. Reggie Herring, the defensive coordinator, has to keep in the back of his mind that he doesn't have Antoine Edwards on the field. Doesn't have anybody that is almost equal to the ability of Torrey Holt to break this game in the other direction in a hurry. Brandon Streeter, second half, Bill, 18 of 21, 243 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That's about as fine a performance as you'll find by a quarterback.
Here comes the kick. And it is picked up by Adrian Williams, and he tries to turn the corner. That's Adrian Wilson, rather. And he gets out to the 24-yard line. Coming up next week on many of these same ACC stations, we've got a good one. The explosive NC State Wolfpack will head home, and at Carter Finley Stadium, they'll take on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. You'll see it at 12 noon on many of these same stations from Carter Finley. We hope you'll join us. And what an afternoon we've had here in Clemson. The Tigers down 28-9, came roaring back. And they now lead 36-35, despite 4 turnovers. First and 10, NC State from their own 24-yard line. That's Holt in motion. Barnett back to throw. Gives him a look, steps out of the rush. Going long, has a man out there.
Oh,
what a catch!
What a catch!
Ryan Hambrick from Shelby, North Carolina, a 51-yard hookup.
Well, you talk about a big play football team. This team is capable of striking quickly. Watch Barnett back to pass. Again, he can throw, moving out of the way, getting away from the rush. And watch this catch by Hambrick. His left hand goes up in the air and pulls the ball down. And of course, that was Robert Carswell on the defend. He was trying to defend against that. There's no way you can defend against that.
Ryan Hambrick with the catch. But back upfield, another key defensive injury and a key player down, Adrian Dingle. Tied with Patrick Kearney of the University of Virginia, coming into today with 9 sacks. He has not registered a sack this afternoon, but right now there's concern over his left knee, and you've already got Antoine Edwards out of the game. 2
top defensive players on the Clemson football team, Antoine Edwards and Adrian Dingle. Those are the number 2 players, 1 and 2, on this football team.
And that's what Reggie Herring has to take into consideration as he tries to put his team in a red zone defensive situation. There's Adrian Dingle's numbers on the season. 12 tackles for loss. 38 tackles from a position that doesn't yield many tackles normally at that defensive end spot. Yeah. Unless it is A, a sack, or B, a tackle for loss.
What the other statistic is not shown is the pressures. How many times has he pressured that quarterback and made him throw it early? That's the thing that doesn't also show up. But what an excellent player, Adrian Dingle.
And this is not a good sight at all when you have to come out and bring the card out. It doesn't look like Dingle's going to be available for service the rest of the afternoon, and the crowd falls to a hush here at Death Valley. They've seen an outstanding team defensive effort here in the second half, and it looks like that is going to have to continue without another key defensive player. Let's watch in the area of Barnett as you see Dingle. He's to the right of your screen, and you can barely see it. You can barely see it as he leaned in there.
Well, I think he had a bad leg prior to this. He had been playing more or less on a bad knee.
Yeah, he had a bad knee. Yes, he did.
So he may have just re-injured it. Hopefully it's not bad, because he's a fine young man and an outstanding football player.
Needed 2 sacks to establish a new season high. He got credit for a half of one here today, and he has 3 tackles. And Dingle being strapped up to be removed from the field, as they will take very special care with that left knee. Tommy West, what more can happen to this football team this afternoon? And despite all of that, the injury to Edwards and the 4 turnovers, and now the injury to Dingle, Clemson keeps fighting back. To the sidelines, Charlie Frederick.
And Steve, this Clemson sideline in shock a little bit at the injury to Adrian Dingle. Of course, Dingle just 1 sack away from tying the single season sack record here at Clemson, which is held by some pretty good players. William Perry, Michael Dean Perry, and Jim Stuckey. So let's hope he can get back in the lineup either later today or later this season and tie and break that record.
Jason Holloman takes his spot at the rush end position. It is 1st and 10 NC State at the Clemson 25. Here comes the pass. Barnett complete to Coleman. Coleman down inside the 20. He's close to a first down. They're going to mark him shy by a yard to the 16. That's his first catch of the afternoon.
Well, they were way off of it. The defensive back gave him a lot of cushion. That was polite. And again, the ball's outside. Here's Jamie Barnett back. 3-step drop, throws the ball, and Polite was off of him about 6 or 7 yards. So he had a lot of room to make that catch. Looked like they're measuring for the first down.
Now they are within Dan Deskovich's field goal range, which is important to consider as NC State looks to take the lead. Obviously, the Wolfpack would rather score a touchdown, but you have to keep that in mind because of the time remaining with 5:25 left. And now they give him the first down, so they give him the 15. Generous spot gives the Wolfpack the 15-yard line and 1st and 10. And it's up to the Clemson defense now to pick their spirits back up after the injury to Adrian Dingle. Robinson and Butler the setbacks. Barnett will operate out of the shotgun. Torrey Holt split out to the wide side, and now we've got a timeout called by NC State. 5:01 left to play. The Wolfpack want to talk things over. They're down by a point, 36-35, but they're driving at the Clemson 15. To Death Valley. Well, here's the situation. 5:01 remaining in the 4th quarter, and the Clemson Tigers are leading NC State 36-35. NC State has the ball, first down and 10 at the 15 of Clemson. Jamie Barnett directing the offense. Torrey Holt wide to the left side. Coleman wide to the short side. Looking to the wide side, and he wants Holt in the end zone. Batted down by Dexter Polite.
That was a very good play by Polite. The ball was underthrown a little bit, and Polite cut out in front of it. And let's take a look at it. You'll see Torrey Holt break to the outside. Ball's a little slow getting there, and Polite cuts right in front. Well, that was a big play there.
Dexter Polite occupying the spot that normally would be given to Antoine Edwards, who left the game in the first half with a hamstring. Barnett had hit 6 of his last 7 before that attempt to hold in the end zone. He's thrown 3 TDs today, all to Torrey Holt. Barnett back to throw on 2nd down. Grab. That's Holloman on the grab. The 3rd sack of the day. We have a flag on the play, however. And a possible hold against NC State.
That was great pressure by Jason Holloman.
Now, of course, now Clemson makes the decision. They'll likely will take the penalty, important from the fact that it'll drag NC State out of field goal.
That's exactly right.
Well, now
they're going to refuse
it. They're going to decline and take the down.
Holding on the offense.
Well.
That's surprising there because they're in good short field goal range there.
See, this would be a 37-yard kick if they don't make anything on third. But to get a first down, NC State has to get to the 6-yard line of Clemson. Tommy West rolling the dice that his defense, very good as it has been all day, is going to be equal to the task again. Holt is the outside receiver to the left. He's at the bottom of your screen, right there at the 20-yard line.
It's a draw, quarterback draw.
And he's not going to get there. He's going to go to the 15, and Michael Cain is going to bring the field goal unit on.
Well, that was a surprising call to decline that penalty. They're in good shape now on the field goal.
And Deskovich gets to come in. Dan Deskovich. This is a young man who walked on from Charlotte, rescued this team, and has hit 6 straight field goals, and he hasn't missed a kick thus far this year. This will be a 32-yarder. His longest one has been 39. Dan Deskovich on the scene. Out of the hold of Ryan Hamrick. It's up. And it is good. NC State takes the lead. Dan Deskovich, the walk-on kicker, makes it 38-36. What a story for this young man who almost saw his moment in time slip by him when he was a high school kicker at South Mecklenburg in Charlotte, lining up for the game-winning field goal in the state semifinals against West Charlotte High School. Time ran out before that man could take a kick, but he gets one this time and puts NC State in the lead. And there's bad news for the Clemson Tigers. We understand it's a sprained ankle, but it's bad enough for Dingle to be helped from the field, and he will not return today.
Well, thank goodness it wasn't his knee, and hopefully that'll heal quickly. But, you know, the big play there was Hamrick catching that one-handed pass that put State in the scoring position.
That was a 52-yard hookup on that pass.
Unbelievable catch, so one-handed. Left hand extended, and he came down with it.
There's Deskovich. He says, I've done my job. Now it's time for the State defense to hold on. But that is easier said than done. 6 plays, 61 yards. The field goal coming at the 3:40 mark. And it's the first time State has had to settle for a field goal today, because Torrey Holt has usually completed the mission and gotten 6 for them. Ray Robinson with another touchdown, and of course they got a fumble recovery by Jason Perry for a 3rd score. And there's Deskovich's field goal of 32 yards. It took him 6 plays. They took 2.5 minutes and a little more off the clock in driving 61 yards. Kent Passingham is now on. And Clemson will be back to receive. They've struck quickly as Brandon Streeter is on a roll. Here comes the kick. Picked up by Lawyer at the 12. Lawyer up the middle of the field. Lawyer's got some room and some blockers. Lawyer to the sidelines, and he's driven out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Clemson will open up in excellent field position, and 3:26 to go. A 35-yard return.
Look at this return. He's got good blocking out in front, and he cuts across the green. Another good block there. Boy, what great field position for the Clemson Tigers, right at almost midfield.
What a day it's been for Mal Lawyer. 2 touchdown receptions. Clemson's made some history here, and we'll talk about it after this play. Streeter is back on 1st and 10 at his own 47-yard line. Pass is on 1st down. The pass is complete. It's out to Wofford. It's in NC State territory. And he's brought down at the 47-yard line. It's a gain of 5. Wofford's catch.
And he's also had a very good day, but the same thing, NC State's only rushing 3 and dropping 8. They're playing defend, and that gives Brandon Streeter a lot of time to throw the football, gives him a lot of time to set his feet.
The first time in Clemson history, the Tigers have had 2 receivers with 100 yards or more. Mal Lawyer with 100. Brian Wofford with that 7-yard reception now has 110. 2nd down. And a long 3. Streeter back to throw. Pass pass is out there, and it is incomplete. Get the timeout coordinator.
Well, the defensive line does a good job there. Again, they only rushed 3 players. That was Greg Derrick, number 3, putting the pressure on. They got pressure on him, only rushing 3 defenders. Take a look at it. There's Brandon Streeter. Here's number 3 coming in. Good pressure on him. And that's Greg Derrick, number 3. And he has to throw the ball over the head of everyone.
And he went up against a good one that time, and Holland Postel. Third down now. 6 of 12 the Tigers are on third down conversion.
Now they're coming at him.
And they get it out to the little slot receiver, and that is Wofford. And he's on his feet inside the 30-yard line.
That's a slip screen again. Wide open. Those blockers get out in front.
Turns a 5-yard play, Bill, into 20, and brings Clemson suddenly within field goal range. Stops the clock with 3:04 left.
Here's a good look at it. Streeter throws out. There's Wofford, number 25, but you can see the blockers out in front. He does a good job of running with the football after the reception. That's Jason Perry, number 9, making the stop.
And Wofford hobbles to the sidelines a little bit. Clemson can't afford many more injuries. Justin Watts is in as a slot receiver. Bailey to his outside shoulder. Streeter, 1st and 10 at the 28 of NC State. The handoff to Javis Austin. And the Clemson native gets down inside the 25 for a 5-yard pickup. On the tackle, LeVar Fisher. Good to see him back on the field. And now we have another injured player. Looks like it's going to be Corey Halsey, who was injured with his right shoulder earlier. This could be a leg injury.
Well, he's limping a little bit.
Oh, we have another injury downfield to John Gamble, the center. Jason Gamble. They just picked up Halsey, but now Jason Gamble, the center downfield, is hurt.
Well, that could be a real loss because the offensive line coach, John Latina, said the most consistent football player he's had in the offensive line has been Jason Gamble. Let's take a look at it.
Now this is going to be Corey Halsey's injury.
There's Halsey.
Oh, right on the back of his leg. Now that's Halsey. Downfield blocking is Gamble, and he's the latest concern. So Halsey comes to the sideline. Here's Gamble. Yes, it's a very crucial position because it's at your offensive center. Now you have a possibility of an exchange problem. Now they'll have Kyle Young, who's been playing right guard. He'll come in and snap, probably, for Gamble, but you got to watch this area. You're not getting the player here who hasn't seen any snaps from center or has seen any reps out there. He's been out on the field, but he hasn't been snapping the ball.
And Gamble has been the anchor of the offensive line. Coach John Latina has been very high on his performance all year long.
So Brent Banasowitz comes in at the right guard spot, the 5th-year senior from Monticello, Florida. Kyle Young, the redshirt freshman, slides down to the center. 2nd down. 6 yards to go. Clemson down by 2. Here's Streeter on the option. There's nothing there. Edrick Smith and Bobby Cotton make the tackle for NC State. It's 3rd down coming. And look at the numbers on Streeter. A new Clemson record. Single game passing yards, 329. And that was set in 1965. So a 33-year-old standard falls to Brandon Streeter this afternoon, who's had an outstanding second half with 3 touchdown passes. And there's Corey Halsey out for just a little bit. He's back on the field. We have a timeout on the field, and it's called by NC State.
Well, the last play, we talked about that old Robbie Cotton that came up with a big play on the option to stop it for no gain. And if NC State ever needed a big stop, they needed one then. And it forces them into a 3rd and long.
Well, what a day Streeter has had. He's hit 12 of his last 13 passes. As he talks on, that's Rick Stockstill on the headset. He's the wide receivers coach, and he's hooked up to the booth talking to Steve Emsminger, who's the offensive coordinator for the Tigers, as they are now looking at a key 3rd down here. 3rd down and 7. Clemson trailing 38-36 with 2:27 left to go. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Third down conversions today. Clemson has been very efficient, 7 out of 13. So Streeter has done the job on third down. Last time he went to third down, it was that inside slot pass to Brian Wofford. But he doesn't have that formation set up here. He's got Laird to the short side, Bailey to the wide side. He's going to go.
He's going to put it in field goal position.
Yep.
They're trying to get it in the middle of the field, so they got a good opportunity to kick the field goal.
So they are going to try for the field goal here as Zachary carries down to the 23-yard line. And now NC State takes their final timeout with 2:19 left to go. Clemson moves it into David Richardson's field goal range. The ball is at the 23, so subtract 7 to the 30 and add 10 to the 40-yard kick for David Richardson. Very doable, although Richardson has a little history this year. He has missed 5 of his last 7 field goals. His season's longest is 42, but in his career, he's kicked as long as 52 yards. There's very little wind. So they'll set up for the field goal. Kyle Young will be the long snapper on the field goal situation. The holder will be Kevin Laird, the punter. Tommy West looking for refreshment. We couldn't have asked for a better game here this afternoon. Looked like it was going to get out of shape early. NC State got up 28-9, and then the Tigers just roared their way back. 28-17, then 28-24. Then that man, Torrey Holt, gave NC State what looked to be a lead that they could hold on to, 35-24. But then Clemson came roaring back, got it to within 5. It's a 40-yard field goal for David Richardson. 2 out of 6 in his last 3 games. He's missed 5 out of his last 7. Out of the hold of Laird, there's the kick. It's long enough. It's good. Clemson leads.
Well, this lead is seesawed back and forth every time.
39-38. Clemson on top. Streeter out to congratulate the special teams as they come off the field. Validates his drive as he got good field position at the 48 on Mal Lawyer's kickoff return. They go 30 yards in 1:25 and a 40-yard field goal by David Richardson. The 21st of his career here at Clemson.
Let's take a look at it. And Richardson is true right down the middle. What a big kick. He hadn't been very successful prior to that, but that's the most important kick.
And we may see history repeat itself between these two. Last year, Clemson kicked a field goal with 21 seconds left to win 1917. Matt Padgett did it.
Well, as I've said before, NC State is very explosive. There's 2 minutes and 15 seconds, so there's a lot of time left in this ball game. However, NC State has no timeouts left.
2:15 left to go. What a combination on that field goal. David Richardson and Kyle Young played at the same high school in Clemson. And they combine on the snap and the kick to put Clemson on top with 2:15 left to go. 27 completions for Brandon Streeter. That's a Clemson single game record. It broke the one established by Nealon Green last year. The records are fast and furiously falling for both schools today. There's the kick. Taking it in the end zone is Collins. NC State elects not to waste any time with a run. And they'll go down to the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Brandon Streeter. It's an excellent academic example at Clemson. And he's having a fine day, the best of his career. And the best that any Clemson quarterback has ever had in a single afternoon. And his team leads by 1 with 2:10 left to play. NC State 80 yards away from the end zone. Watch number 81, Holt. He's to the top of your screen as the outside receiver. Looking his way. There's the pass complete to Holt. And a shoestring tackle by Dexter Polite upset him, and it looks like he's going to have enough for a first down.
Well, that's that same play that's been so effective for Clemson. Little slip screen. You'll see the people go out in front. There's Coleman blocking, making a block, and Holt gets about 9 yards.
Not enough for the first down, not enough to stop the clock, and NC State's out of timeouts. Barnett to throw in the pocket. It is complete. It is complete to Hamrick. Ryan Hamrick to midfield in Clemson territory at the 49. It's a 23-yard gain.
They can strike in a hurry, and they've got the people, big play capability every time they line up.
And they don't need 6. All they need is 3. And Deskovich's range is 39. They're well away from that now. Clock rolling with 1:33 left to play. Barnett back to throw. Scrambling out of the pocket, it is complete. Taken down by Chris Coleman, and he won't be stopped. Touchdown, NC State, but wait.
I called him out of bounds.
They're going to call him out of bounds. Upfield, matter of fact, they're going to call him out of bounds at the 22-yard line. No touchdown. Watch it on the screen.
Well, you see Barnett rolling to his right. Boy, he threw that ball right in there to Coleman, in between 2 defenders, and you can see his foot just barely step out of bounds right there. But boy, he threaded the needle between 2 Clemson defenders. That was Carswell, number 9, and Abdullah, the other defender.
Now, State is within field goal range. They're at the 22. They are barely within Deskovich's field goal range. Clock stopped with 1:17 left to go. State out of timeouts, and they're going to move into better field goal range here. Robinson down at the 20 and brought down at the 17. Clock still moving with 1:08 left to go. Ardley and Holloman bring him down.
Well, he did a good job of taking that ball, going up inside and bouncing outside. He bounced outside for extra yardage. Good running by Ray Robertson.
Down to the 17-yard line. This would be a 34-yard kick. They may get more here. Here is Holt. Holt dancing inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Another first down. That'll stop the clock with 42 seconds left to go. For the officials to reset the chains, and then NC State will start again. Now Clemson is going to call for a timeout.
That's going to help NC State.
Clemson calls time. There's 42 seconds left to go. Clemson in the lead, 39-38. Back after these messages from your local ACC station. First and goal, NC State at the Clemson 6, actually the 8-yard line. Barnett back to throw. Barnett looking for the end zone. Touchdown, Torrey Holt.
Well thrown football. Threw it to the outside. The defender had no chance of bringing it up. Well, I tell you, you have to give NC State a lot of credit for their ability to strike and strike quick.
Well, and the thing about it is that they go for the touchdown instead of the field goal. The field goal gives them the lead, but doesn't get them out of Clemson's reach. The touchdown, however, will force Clemson, when they get the ball back, they'll have to go for 6. It won't become a battle of field goal kickers from here. Now, NC State wants to make the climb a little more uphill, as they'll go for the 2-point conversion. They're up by 5, 37 seconds left to go, and they've done all this, mind you, from their own 20-yard line with no timeouts. They went 6 plays, 80 yards. Again, Ryan Hamrick with a big hookup, Chris Coleman with a big hookup.
Well, Hamrick's made 2 big plays, 2 excellent plays in this ball game.
And Holt has scored his 4th touchdown of the day. Here's the 2-point conversion as the crowd falls to a hush here at Clemson. Barnett looking across the pass, complete to Coleman. He held on long enough. They batted it out of his hands, but once he has possession across the plane, it's over.
Once you have that football and you're in the goal line, they can knock it out. You can fumble it. You can do anything you want to. It's a touchdown.
So NC State tacks on the all-important 2. Let's look at the touchdown again.
Again, Barnett has an uncanny ability to find the open receiver. And there it is. That's to the outside. That's Ardley, number 28 covering.
Here's the point after touchdown.
This is the one that Jamie Barnett, he threw that ball off balance. There's not many quarterbacks, Steve, that can do that.
Here's the touchdown catch again. Watch Holt.
He starts inside and then breaks out. He's got the defender hardly inside of him, and Barnett puts the ball on the outside. There's no way you can break up that pass.
Torrey Holt, first player to have 4 TD catches on Clemson since 1975. And we can't count the number of records and big moments in this game that have fallen between these two teams this afternoon. Torrey Holt, as NC State now with the 2-point conversion takes a 7-point lead. Clemson now, the field goal not a possibility. He said, I painted my hair for this.
He looks like an ex-Clemson Letterman.
I don't know if all that hair is his, but it's all orange, that's for sure. All right, here we go. Kemp Passingham with a low kick. Picked up on the fly. Brought upfield by Braxton Williams. He's a freshman from Greensboro, North Carolina, and that's where Clemson will have the ball. 31 seconds left to go. They're on their own 30-yard line, and now Brandon Streeter is in the challenge of his life. They have 1 timeout remaining. Tommy West saw his team trail 28-9 after 4 turnovers. Brandon Streeter has been superb since. He's got 4 wideouts. Martin and Wofford to the top. Blitz is on for NC State. Pass out into the flats, intercepted. Lloyd Harrison intercepts the ball, gets down on one knee. That's the 5th turnover of the game. And that pretty much seals it with 22 seconds left to go, unless State makes a huge mistake and turns it over. The second pass interception of the day thrown by Brandon Streeter.
Steve, there's an old saying, neither team deserves to lose a football game, and believe me, both teams fought very hard. Both deserved to win. A lot of credit goes to Tommy West and the Clemson Tigers, and you know, you got to give credit to Coach Michael Kane and his staff for being down and coming back. So it's a shame that either team had to lose this football game.
Tommy West, the dejection showing. What a comeback his team had made. You know, you talk about Clemson, and Streeter hasn't had the best of seasons, but he was having himself a career second half. And now NC State can just down the football and watch time run off the clock because Clemson has no more timeouts. And this game will end. Antoine Edwards considers what might have been had he been in there as the top defensive back for the Clemson Tigers, able to match up with Torrey Holt, but it wasn't to be. Mike O'Kane and Tommy West shake hands, and as Charlie Frederick said earlier, Mike O'Kane certainly can sympathize where Tommy West is now as the Tigers sink to 2-7. The Wolfpack now 5-3 and only 2 losses in conference, and they still have that big trump card. They have that trump card, that win over Florida State. So if somebody else can knock off the Seminoles, then NC State is back in the chase possibly again for the ACC title. NC State in a thriller at Clemson, winning 46-39. We'll be back. Textile Bowl, 46-39 over the Clemson Tigers. So many big plays in this game. And let's take a look at our Amoco players of the game. Torrey Holt, 4 touchdown catches. First receiver to do that on Clemson since 1975. 225 yards, including an 85-yard touchdown. Brandon Streeter, 27 of 37, but only missed 3 passes in the second half. He threw 2 interceptions, 1 late in the game, but had 3 touchdown passes and was superb for the Clemson Tigers this afternoon. In a losing cause, however, as the Tigers fall to 2-7, NC State now advances their record to 5-3. Raheem Abdullah meeting the fans. He had a great ball game. We called his name all afternoon, Bill. And not enough you could say about this Clemson defense. They played equal to the task, but they couldn't overcome eventually 5 turnovers.
Well, you're exactly right, Steve. They did an outstanding job, and you got to give a lot of credit to the offense of Clemson.
Well, let's go down to Charlie Frederick, and he's standing by with a man from Gibsonville, North Carolina, Torrey Holt, who had a big day today.
You ready yet?
Torrey, 2 minutes to go in the ball game. You guys are down. Any question in your mind that you're going to be able to pull the game out?
No, well, we practiced this all year. guys stepped up and did a good job. Ron Hammer, Chris Coleman stepped up and did a good job, got some completions. Jamie did a good job sitting back there, and we were just moving the ball successfully on them today.
Games like this, are you glad you didn't decide to turn pro? Glad you came back for your senior season?
I'm glad I came back. You know, I'm enjoying the experience that I'm having with my younger brother. I'm working on getting my degree. Being here with my fellas that I came in with, I'm just enjoying everything, and I'm glad I came back.
Any question you guys are going to a bowl game?
I hope so. We got next game. The next game is against Warrior Fall. We're taking it one game at a time. Hopefully we can go out next week, get a good win. We got to go out, practice hard, and just take it one game at a time. Hopefully we get in the bowl.
Ever been in a game like this? As wild as this?
I've never been in a game like this. I enjoyed it. Clemson is a good ball team. My hat goes off to them. I hope they continue with a lot of success throughout the years, and I enjoyed playing here.
All right, Torrey, congratulations.
Take care.
Good game, man. All right, Charlie Frederick and Torrey Holt, congratulations. Torrey Holt from Gibsonville, North Carolina, same hometown as Kay Yao. They've got Kay Yao's name on the welcome sign, and she said she'd gladly move her name over and let them put Torrey Holt up on the side, especially after today, with 4 touchdown pass receptions, including the go-ahead touchdown, 46-39, NC State over Clemson. And I understand Charlie Frederick is standing by with a very relieved, maybe as much as happy. No, he doesn't have Michael Caine at the moment. So the NC State Wolfpack pulls off the win, 46-35. And Coach, a momentum win for NC State, a crushing loss for Clemson. But NC State now has to vault ahead and think of another tough opponent on their own home field, the last home game of the season.
Well, there's no doubt about it. You know, the thing that impresses me so much was NC State's ability to be down and to come back, to get down again and to come back. But they have the big play football players. You look at them, they're all over the field. Jamie Barnett, Torrey Holt, Ryan Hamrick, Coleman, you just go right down the line, and Robinson, the newfound running back, all make big plays. But I'm going to go back and say again, Clemson University really fought their hearts out this afternoon. The defense did a great job. And Brandon Streeter, you can't find a quarterback that plays better than what he did this afternoon.
Outstanding afternoon. Only missed 3 passes in the second half, 10 for the day. Threw 2 interceptions, but laced up 3 touchdown passes and set a Clemson single game record for passing yards at 329. But it wasn't enough. Torrey Holt, Jamie Barnett, and the NC State Wolfpack pull it out. They go to 5-3 with a 46-39 victory over Clemson. And let's see the last play of the game for the NC State Wolfpack as they look for Torrey Holt again.
And it's outside where they can't get to it. And let me say, this win is so important that keeps them in a hunt for a bowl, a big bowl.
5-3 is their mark. Next week they'll try to do it again against another great team and another great receiver. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons come to town to face NC State. We'll have it right here at 12 noon. Many thanks to the fine people who brought you this game. My thanks to Bill Dooley and Charlie Frederick. I'm Steve Martin, reminding you you've been watching Jefferson Pilot Sports exclusive coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference football. NC State a winner, 46-39.